everything. And no, that's like, if you know you're at a higher level of consciousness than chat, you're not supposed to let chat build you up or break you down. You're not supposed to take their opinion serious. And responding to someone much smaller in viewers than you is like you responding to chat. So why don't you just respond to all your chatters? Right? Like what would be the point of that? I've never understood the go to Walmart, look at the average human being. I use this example a lot, but I've never said it like this before. Go look at the average person. They make moves in their life that doesn't affect them financially, does not affect them network or clout wise, and doesn't affect them romantically either. Thinking, feeling, willing, every or I mixed that up a bit, but you get what I'm saying. That humans make the average human makes chess moves, big chess moves in their day every day for things that have nothing, no ROI, zero. And I've never understood that. It's like, what are you on drugs? Are you drinking too much? Like what is making you so what is increasing your emotional intensity to make chess moves that have no return on investment? Right? And so I guess you could point to me and say, well, Zherka, what about when you were at war with this guy? And yeah, but I'm cackling and laughing for 8 hours straight on one stream. Clearly, I'm getting something out of it. If I'm laughing at something for 8 hours to the point where even chat is like, yo, this stopped being funny 4 hours ago. Let's move on. And I can't stop. Clearly, I'm possessed by the the trickster, right? I just need to keep that meme alive in my head because obviously it usually reminds you of something else that you probably don't want to share with the audience, but it has like a deeper well of energy. Even though let's be real, that's cope. If you spend 8 hours trolling a day, you could pop off much sooner in your life. If you like, nobody realizes. Everyone's like, "Oh, Zherka, you're a troll," so that's what I'm gonna do. And it's like, dude, you guys do realize that the trolling slows me down a lot. Like, I might enjoy my life more, but it slows me down a lot. Anyone who's who has been in my chat since the Twitch days knows, oh, wow, this guy could have popped off much. This guy could have done more views. This guy could have, but he has to troll this retarded Dunkel character. What I would cut my viewers in half to keep the troll going with like 1,500 viewers, which I had no idea that's a lot of viewers until recently. Because I thought botting started in 2024, but botting's been around since 2018 and like cheap bot service and stuff. So most of the people I was competing with on Twitch actually had less viewers than me. And I'd go live with Dead Hex and be like, there's no way their chats don't move. How are they beating us? And Dead Hex would be like, Dead Hex didn't even know. He's a smart kid, but he didn't know. No, none of us knew. Like I didn't even know that people bought their follower counts so they could get collabs, let alone their viewer counts, right? And I found this shit out. I didn't even want to believe it till 2024 until it was too obvious. And then I'm like, oh wow. So even on a liberal ass left leaning platform like Twitch, I was always doing great in views, especially for 12-hour streams, which can get really boring compared to a 2-hour banger stream that can peak viewers at a higher. And they teach you that, like, everyone teaches you, hey, if you stream more hours you get more out of it. But no, it's more like who's getting the best waves of engagement. So if you peak at 5,000 viewers for 2 hours, it's better than being live for 12 hours. But if you genuinely love streaming, you can't stop. It's very, when you're locked in, you just can't stop. You're like, why would I kill that momentum? How do you even know you're going to repeat it tomorrow? Um, yeah, so it's like you wouldn't end that. But I just remember being so confused as to why so many streamers had higher viewer counts, and now they're working day jobs. Like every single, when I say I've had a lot of friends in my life, I don't mean like, oh, I'm the cool guy who made a lot of friends. No, I mean like I had a hacking system. I had Twitch. I had, when you're on social media, you make a lot of friends really fast. I don't even know if you call that friends, but that's what I mean. And they all went away, which is funny because A personality like mine shouldn't be around that many people. I'm very, very easily disgusted by humans. And I mean, I don't mean that just like in the way I usually talk about it. I mean it like if you say something that reminds me you're not going in my direction, I get really turned off. If I'm not laughing at you, I get really turned off around you. So a lot of good friends of mine were like, "Where did Zherka go? I must have said something to turn him off." And it's like, yeah, if you remind me your mountain has nothing to do with my mountain, it is like a huge red flag in my head that it's like, whoa, I make a mental note of it's like if someone it's like if I joined a Zoom call with a bunch of engineers talking about mathematics. A huge red flag in my head would just rise and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm wasting my life. You know, I don't even know 2 plus 2 anymore. I don't know any of this shit. Like this is not for me. Right. And then there are some idiots who there's intelligent idiots, which is the worst kind of idiot that these types of souls they convince themselves, hey, I'm around smart people, therefore I'm gaining something, and that's not how it works. You could be around 1,000 geniuses. If you guys are climbing different mountains, you'll never speak their language, and it's even more dangerous if you do, because you'll stay on their mountain longer and realize, oh, it's not my mountain. And there is, when you wake up in the morning, not to make this a motivational thing, but when you wake up in the morning, there is nothing more important than realizing, oh, stagnation isn't an option, right? There is nothing inside of you that wants stagnation. You want your mountain, you want to climb it. And if you are as competitive as me for the things I want out of my life well, I already have them, but I want them to blossom further. They're not going to look like your things. Like a lot of people are like, dude, we want the same stuff. And I'd be like, no, you wouldn't. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? And they'd be like, oh, Zerka, I would live stream or I would vlog. Like, okay, clearly we don't want the same things, you know? I'd rather have money and focus on my craft. I would really love if it was a speed operation, that would be awesome where you can't get banned. The platforms are meeting you. They're not snaking you. You don't have to worry about getting banned and all this stupid shit. That would be a different thing. But even that would get played out for like a grown ass man with hair on his ass. Like, bro, some of you guys, that's why I tell you guys to make your dreams come true fast so you're not older guys live streaming. There's a lot of you guys who are going to be doing your live streaming shit around 28 and you're going to start doing really well. And you're going to come to me for advice and I'm going to be like, dude, this is like a 25-year-old man's game maximum. Really, you see the top guys will be 18 and stuff. And then it's if you've watched Aiden Ross in the last 3 years, you're probably a loser. But if you watch them in 2022, you're probably having fun with your friends, learning about live streaming. Like your thinking was alive, everything was creative. It gets played. As soon as Aiden passed the age of like 21, he got really hard to watch. It's like he's got too much hair on his face, just weird, right? Especially that kind of streaming thing. For me, it's a little different because you could see I'm doing something different than Aiden. I'm using the streaming thing to enter the bar scene again, the bar life, the girls, the money, all that, blah, blah, blah. And just, you could see I'm using live streaming as a lazy way of being social or getting bitches or whatever the fuck, right? And if you don't understand what I'm saying, is like peaking early is a beautiful thing. Peaking early is a beautiful thing because most of the fun you're going to have in your life is not from the emotional intensity of being at the top. And I know it's so rare. It's like 0.00001% of the population that's going to be a global household name. And so it sounds like I'm talking just for that person, but I'm not. Whatever your little niche is, I'm talking about that too, right? And I really think down to my core, changing one person's life, hearing this feels better than changing 1,000 lives, but just a little bit, like just seeing some dude enter his stardom, just explode into the scene is more beautiful than anything. And it's everlasting life forces. Like you don't realize this because a lot of you guys who listen to me are younger, but you don't keep renewing your life sources through relationships and mastery of work. And when you're older, you're going to renew your life sources by helping people. That's just what older people do. That's why a lot of more mature careers are always consultation or helping someone in some kind of way, right? And these, I don't care, don't look at money first. Let's look at fulfillment in their eyes. These are the most fulfilled kind of souls, right? And I'm saying it as a selfish thing too. It's not just like a Jesus message. I'm saying that you gain so much life forces from helping people. You sound more confident, you feel better, you're more energized, and then boom, you put it all into a book and make $52 million. But it's not you who made it, it's everyone you helped, all their life forces entering you over 10 years. And then you go, man, how the fuck did that happen? And it happens to a bunch of people, man. People don't hang out with me because they think I'm a genius. People hang out with me because I'm alive. You know how little humans on earth are actually alive? Talk about successful men. Like, how many successful people do you know that you cannot even have a coffee with them because you're like, it's kind of boring, man. You're not alive. You clearly turned into a calculation machine. You're making money, but something's gone. There's no light behind your eyes. You look like the Zherka profile picture. You look fucked up. You know? I don't know how much I can trust a calculator. Like, where's the humanity? Right? And it's strange because everything online, everything that's trying to sell you shit, everything that's trying to even give you free advice so you respect them more. You know how people are like that? Everything is about, here, I have something intellectual. I'm going to take you to an intellectual space so you can learn something. And it's like, humans don't want to learn things for the sake of learning things. It's about replenishing life forces. That's why, any new student I have, they go, I think the greatest thing ever was joining Zherka, and he told me to unfollow everyone. So I did. I even unfollowed Zherka because he can post a lot of Dragon Ball and distractions and all that. And everything started fixing my life. It took a couple weeks, but everything started. Why? Because once you start seeing thought forms, the world of thoughts that these things can push into you, it's not you pushing out thought. You can get distracted with a Dragon Ball video for 5 hours, even if you're not into Dragon Ball. Did you know that? Like, don't think of how Zerka thinks. Think of how an average person thinks. An average person will turn. I swear to God, they do this. They can turn the TV on and go, "Oh, something interesting is on," but they never selected for it. So they just see Gordon Ramsay. They didn't say, "I want to watch Gordon Ramsay." They're just unconsciously turning the TV on and going, "Wow, something interesting's on." It's not interesting if it captures your attention. It's interesting if it comes from your inner soul. Meaning, Zerka gets up, he's not choosing entertainment, he's talking about Steiner. That's really difficult and dry for a lot of people. I hate to use those words because eventually you'll get to a point where that's all you want. I hate to, I've seen some intellectuals call it dry, like really dense literature. And I'm so against that right now. But let's be fair. Of like at 21, I was like, man, fuck this shit. Let's go to the good stuff. Let's manipulate people. Let's get what I want. But let's avoid all the dense shit as much as we can, at least. Which is the complete wrong approach because that's not how the mind works. The mind is made to struggle with dense material over and over again. And then you come back to it later, maybe months later, sometimes years later, and it all locks in. And you're like, what the? Well, not all, I'd say like 20% locks in, right? But that's the thing, is like a lot of people are like, oh, this material is just not for me. The fuck do you mean it's not for you? You look at any master in any field, their material wasn't for them either, right? But they eventually, through that friction, they get to a place where they go, "Holy shit! The clout, the money. I don't have to work. I don't. It's been years. I'm chilling. I am chilling, but I'm not chilling because I'm getting paid for the friction, even if it's not my job, right? It's nobody told me to do that job. It's inner. It comes from the inside. You fucking turn the TV on, you go, oh wow, this is so interesting. This is some Gordon Ramsay shit. And it's like, dude, you didn't choose it. You're not actually interested in the Gordo show, bro. And the Gordon, you just have nothing to do. You're a fucking, who are you? You know? Are you SNEAKO? Are you one of SNEAKO's dick riders? Which is like, dude, if you think dick riding gets you anywhere in the world, ask yourself why I am. Look at Zerka getting platformed by Aiden 500 times and heel Mike 0. But Zerka's calling Aiden a little to his face and humiliating, going out with this girl, just evil shit. But why am I getting platformed? Like, you got to ask yourself, it's not, and Heel Mike is avoiding insulting the guy on stream. But they just, you know, the group hated him. They couldn't hate me because they're like, okay, this guy he's bringing something. Let's platform him, platform. Let's try and destroy him, but let's keep platforming him. And who eventually wins from that? Me. And shout out to them because they eventually unbanned me three, 4 times almost. I think 4. I don't remember, bro. It's a blur. Yeah, the bands are a blur because it's all like you roll your eyes, you go, again, man, fuck this shit. And eventually, it's too much disrespect. Or like, when the fucking Serbians get involved, the Serbian moderation team, they're like, oh, bro, because I get thousands of letters from Serbs saying you saved my life, and I'm like, bro, you guys killed my people. Like, why are you emailing me this shit? And then so I go live and I'm like, man, fuck these guys, and immediately the fucking moderation team's like, okay, we're gonna keep him banned for now. It's like, dude, it doesn't hurt me. I swear to God, I would rather have Heel Mike unbanned, like in that 2024 year where I'm watching Heel Mike and I'm still banned. I would much rather have that than me get unbanned because it's like I wouldn't be using it. But why the fuck would someone respecting Aiden not get any platform time? He got zero. Mike got zero clout out of that whole saga. I had to pull him on, which is crazy because it's like he was the respectful one. But you got to ask yourself, is dick riding, what does dick riding mean? It doesn't mean that you don't have talent. You're just making a huge fool of yourself. Because imagine going live, dick riding SNEAKO, trying to signal to the world, they're like, yo, this is my guy. And it's like, dude, look at your analytics. It's not doing that much for you, bro. Like, you kind of look pathetic. Like, if your tongue is going to be up SNEAKO's ass, show the analytics. Show at least, have that kind of thing where you go, hey, my game plan's working. Yeah, here's the truth. Let's say you build yourself dick riding some dude, right? Brown tongue and all that. By the time you're done getting to, let's say, your 100,000 followers of dick riding, by the time you're done that, not only is all the top comments, who usually they're wrong, but in this case, are they wrong? It's like they're going to be saying that you're like the Mike Malek of the, you're kind of just that guy next to him. Not only are they going to say you're a suck up and all that, but really you're going to feel it inwardly. After you spend a year of sucking up to another human being, you've changed your soul so much, your soul structure, that it is impossible for you to fix it because it'll take a year to reverse all that. And I don't mean reverse like you're going backwards. I mean, you'll become a new thing. You won't go back. You'll become a third thing. So you'll be you and your talent plus the sucking up plus the third thing that comes out of it, which is so counterintuitive to what you want to do. Like, if I could build a young man's confidence for 5 years and he gets 0 followers, 0 money, but I'm still building his courage, one day he gets platform and he pops the fuck off and he doesn't need me anymore. It only takes once to pop off. I know a lot of you guys message me like, I don't believe when you say this because everyone pops off and their name just fades and they don't get to do the retirement plan like Zherka. And it's like, dude, you're pointing to examples that popped off. I'm not talking about popping off over a joke or a meme or sucking up to a friend or being a camera guy. I'm talking about popping off through individuation where people point their finger and they go, what is wrong with him? That's what is wrong with that guy? Wait a minute. Actually, in a weird way, he's so weird. It's kind of relatable. And if it's not, I respect that he is doubling down on his weirdness. It's almost like that man has nowhere to run anymore. He's got nowhere to run. He said, you know what? There's no mask in the world that fits my face. Let's use my real face. And people love that shit. Even if a human can only be real, what do we clock him? We clock humans for being real for like what? 10 minutes? Dude, 10 minutes on a live stream will skyrocket you. If you could be real for 10 minutes of your life, that's awesome. So some of the most real people we see, like rappers, they're snitches. They snitch to the police. It's not really the realness you were looking for, right? And a lot of people are afraid to be real without talent. Dude, talent grows in realness. Like, think about a little kid working on his archery all day, right? His bow and arrow skills. That's him, his alone time, his realness over many years. And then eventually, he's the greatest archer in the whole medieval village or whatever, right? So you guys don't realize that, like, the authentic part of you that's inside of you that keeps nudging you, I want to get out, I want to get out, I want to get out. But you don't want him out because he can actually get hurt in the world. Like, he carries the HP. And it's much worse to getting hurt inwardly than it is, getting a bruise on your face. Like, a lot of people come to me, they're like, oh, I'm afraid to get punched in the face. And I'm like, no, you're not. You think you are until you get punched in the face. And then you go, you know, that inward breakup pain I had, or that losing that job, or those pains are real. The physical stuff isn't what I swear to God, you could get the biggest pussy on earth. It's an illusion that the external world is going to hurt you if they punch you in the face. It's an illusion that hurts. What really hurts is failure. Bro, failure hurts so much because it always whispers the same story. It says, you're not going to get this until you can stand on your own 2 feet and fail with an upright spine. If you can fail with confidence, you can go to the next level. But what human can fail with confidence? Not even the top of the top. Look at the top athletes when they fail. Bro, it burns them alive the most, and they transmute the fire. You know how hard it is? For some people, it takes 10 years to transmute all the fire in them. For some rare individuals, it could take a year. For every single, think of a hermetic philosopher or a really wise sage. Wise meaning they suffered the most, right? Crystallized pain in the face, cuts and scars and all that. Think of that sage. As soon as he feels the anger from losing what he's trying to do, he stands firm. And that's it. A lot of people are like, the hardest thing is to do this. That no, the hardest thing is non-action. When you have to just keep standing and you're like, damn, I failed again. And this time it took a financial hit, it took a network hit, it took a romantic hit, it took multiple hits at the same time. And I feel like I'm getting worse at this. And at that moment, you have to keep your spine straight and keep standing. That moment, your mom, your friends, your whoever calls you, you cannot lash out at them. You have to have the conversation with them without being reactive, without saying, why the fuck are you calling me right now? And they're like, damn, what's wrong with you? And because all that inward fire is just fucking, it's burning you alive. And it's like, dude, blowtorch it, man. Keep it in the center, right in the middle of your heart. Keep it right there and stand straight and fail with honor. Fail with honor, because by the time you're 30 years old, you understand, oh, failing with honor is the next step. But in your 20s, you can keep repeating this message. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Zherka, I tried that. It's like, no, you're not under. When I give you guys advice that I seriously emphasize, I'm actually telling you guys that you're gonna go through it thousands of times. Like, I'm not talking about a one-off scenario where you fail and you're like, oh, I stood there. I'm talking about the same failure for 1,000 times in a row. And it's got to be done. It's got to be that failure that makes you think, what if I'm not cut out for this? That's always the final thought of a loser, by the way. Before bed, before whatever, it's always, what if I'm not cut out for this? Or this person told me I'm not cut out for this. Or, like, think of a young nerdy Zherka, and you go up to him, you go, yo, you have to be the ladies' man. Out of 8 billion people on earth, you have to do it. You can't be like Dan Bilzerian and pay the women, right? Which, I'm not calling him an ugly guy still. I still think they want to smash. I'm fair like that. But just the whole paying for it aspect is like, don't they get the lifestyle? Why are you paying them if they get the whole $2,000 a girl to hang out and orgy? And it's like, dude, they're already getting your lifestyle. Like, there shouldn't, that payment thing is the girl's hustling, is the girl smashing, knowing he got hooked and immediately saying, well, I can't come because I have to work. And they're like, okay, we'll pay your work bills. How much? And she goes, 2,000. And they go, what? USD? What the fuck are you talking about? And they go, well, yeah, I have to go. And then they know, so these girls, you don't know what an escort is, bro. They know they got that kid hooked and he has to start paying them. And then one of them tells the other one, oh, you paid me this much. Oh, let's go. Let's all crank our prices at the same time. And it's like, dude, at that point, it's like, there's no respect left. I'm sorry. When it leaked that they're 1,500 to 2,000 a girl, dude, they were already on the yacht. They were already on the yacht with the chef, with the having fun, with they're doing their shrooms and all that. They already have the billionaire lifestyle because it really doesn't change from billions to millions. Let's be real, it's a fucking boat. But I'm telling you right now, when they get all that and the girls start hustling, you lost your masculinity right there. Because and a lot of you guys would say, well, Zherka, then if you did the Dan Bilzerian thing, if your dad gave you 100 million and blah, 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 if you did that, you would have had less girls. 100% I would have had less girls, those kind of girls. That the idea that I'm getting milked after providing a heavenly environment, that's crazy to me. What? I would have reduced the number so fast just to keep my honor, just so none of them can come out on the news and say, well, he paid 40 of these girls 1,500 to 2,000 USD for the party that they come around to 8 p.m. and leave at whatever. And you know, it's always the guy thinking, oh, she's gonna get hooked. Yeah, they can get hooked for a bit, but who gets hooked longer? Women are the reflective force in nature. Clearly, we gaze into them, we will get more addicted than they will to us. Like, let's call a spade, right? We're the outward, we're like we are the solar force in nature. But they are the moon, they're reflective. So when we gaze into them, we can lose ourselves in that. You're paying 2,000 a girl when you have a six pack, you're a good looking guy, and maybe you're 5'4" or whatever they're saying. Which, by the way, you know, a lot of people are like, Zherka, do you actually hate short people? Yes. Anyone whose thoughts are more earthly, I find them kind of useless because my whole, and I'm not saying everyone should think like me. I don't think it's possible. I couldn't even convince people to think like, even tall people I couldn't convince. But when my incarnation is all about spirit, right? Even the destructive faces are spiritual, like they're connected. Like there's a reason why I'm choosing to destroy right now. When you find someone like me that's etherically so upward, right? I'm not talking about pure, but I focus so much on thinking. I'm not saying I'm a thinking type, you know? It's like I really am not saying that. I'm saying I'm focusing on it. But my ideas are otherworldly. And then you have someone like Dan Bilzerian who, like, imagine having a deep I only judge a human on their deep conversations or what they say when they don't speak, right? But just imagine his head, like any human that talks to me about Texas Hold'em and gambling. And, you know, a lot of you guys are like, dude, these gambling streamers want to be friends with you, Zherka. How come it's been years you haven't even hit them up? And it's like, dude, sitting in a room talking about gambling, I could never do that. You know how much money I've lost because I'm not into it? I'm 6'5". My thoughts don't go towards gambling, right? I don't have earthly thoughts like that. I think the strongest earthly desire I have, a lot of people would point and say, oh, yours is lust, yours is women. But if you saw the behind the scenes, you guys would be like, holy shit, he spent years alone. And I loved it. You know, it was suffering, but I loved that kind of suffering because, you know, we were doing, I guess it was COVID, we were doing other things. Like I was focused on other things, but it wasn't like that compulsive SNEAKO every weekend he needs to smash something. I've never had that compulsion. I force myself because it benefits me to have ladies around me, right? It benefits my incarnation, right? Yeah, but it's like don't waste the chat archetype. I've seen a lot of people do that, and it's kind of depressing when you see that guy in Walmart. Like, I just hate that. It's like me being tall and not playing ball. Like all of you would be like, "Oh, Zherka, that's weird, bro. You can't be that tall and not play basketball." And I go, "I know. It's horrible. It's actually horrible. It's like, you know." And I grew up with black kids playing video games, those kind of black kids, right? And Dragon Ball and all that. I didn't grow up with the right. And it's horrible. It's like, you know, if you tell a tall guy, hey, if a tall guy says he doesn't play basketball, it's kind of like a what the fuck are you on earth here for? Like, even just go play for fun at least, right? It's horrible, right? And you see that with anything, you know, a good writer that doesn't write, that's all I could think of. If I meet a good writer and I go, man, this guy's tweets are hard. and he doesn't write, I go, whoa, you're a fucking, or for you guys like entertainers, Zherka entertain me, you're so good at it and stuff. Bro, when people are not using their gifts, Dan Bilzerian, I don't have a beef because you're lying and calling Nick a fed. I mean, that's not where my beef started. I don't have a beef at all. It's more like the paying the women thing. Like for, I remember on my Twitch days, you guys would ask me, you guys, what do you think of the short guy, 5'4" Dan Bilzerian? And I'm like, I wouldn't have anything. What would I talk to him about? How could I be a fan? Right? I remember Jackson Hinkle. When I first platformed Jackson Hinkle, he had like 50 viewers. Right? I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be the real deal because he's gonna pop off because he just the interactions with Adriana and stuff was funny. So, but I remember going to his house in LA and he had Dan Bilzerian's book, and I'm like, he shows me, he's like, yo, I bought Dan Bilzerian's book, and I remember thinking like, how do you guys? What is in this book that a political guy like you could, get into? I didn't even get it. It's like how, I went through like one page. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, right? And by the way, it's the book. It's a book based on lies. When a human being lies this much about their own incarnation, they are deeply insecure. Dan Bilzerian tells the world. I don't care about any of the military lies or any of that. I don't care about none of that stuff. I care about, and I do care. I care enough to mention it right now, but I don't care as in I don't need to put focus on all of his lies. This one lie is what really pisses me off. He he somehow, and because he's effective with his lie, like he convinced enough people, it pisses me off even more. Because if he didn't get away with it, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But he convinced a huge majority of his fan base that his rich dad didn't give him the money, even after it was leaked that, well, we know the truth now. All of his success came from his father, who is it like some kind of scammer or whatever, which means it's in his blood to scam, by the way. Like my dad can't even throw bubble gum on the ground, and your dad can fucking embezzle money and do all this kind of crazy shit. It's like when people tell me they have crook family, I'm like, bro, being a crook is in your blood. For me, it's an outlaw archetype that I need to do. I remember being a young kid and I needed to individuate. I don't know why. I had an itching to individuate because it wasn't, I couldn't be a thief to be a thief. Like if I stole something as an 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid when my desire body was strong, but it didn't focus on women. For some reason, it focused on anything to do with courage building and where could you build the most courage. For some reason, my teenage brain said, and the trickster thing is funny too, but the most thrill I'd get from being an more kind of introverted, but to pop out of that introverted energy, because I knew that, life is horrible for introverts, let's be real. I knew I had to push out of it. And I didn't do drugs, I didn't do alcohol, I didn't do none of that. But I needed to push out of my shell somehow. And I didn't want to do the girl path. I didn't want to do any other path. The only path that made sense to me was against corporations and government and all the stuff that bothers me today. And for some reason, it was I'm going to start stealing this Lego box from a big Walmart or Toys R Us or whatever. And when the alarm goes, and I didn't, I like Lego, but not as much as my friends or whatever. So I would always give what I'm stealing to a buddy of mine, or my buddies would laugh that I would do it. They'd be like, holy shit, he actually did it. And I would be covered in sweat like I did a line of Coke before Coke was even a thing, before I even knew what it was. And the alarm would go off and it was like beep, beep, beep. And it became a kleptomania kind of thing for me where because I didn't want to individuate with girls like other teenagers with a job, with going to college, the only way I knew how to do, shit that builds courage was go to a big corporation and, you know, test my speed. I used to be a really fast kid actually. Not for a long time, but yeah, I used to be pretty fast. And I still remember thinking to myself, like, wow, this is an introvert would never do. Like, if you pay an introvert money, he can't steal something from Walmart, right? So in my head, this was a big win, huge win. Like the first time the outlaw archetype said, "Good, Zherka, good, you're breaking out of the matrix. Soon you'll focus on girls, but we're starting with the outlaw that nobody can stop you." And it was strange because this is the first time in my life I was getting a huge rush from doing something extremely masculine. Like if you get caught, you go to jail or whatever happens. I don't know. You get humiliated, you know? But there was no thief in my blood. Like I never kept anything I stole. I'd always give it away. It was more for the rush, which, you know, if you don't believe me, how do you think that translated later with the drugs and the partying? It's always been for the rush. Like it's always been for the emotional intensity and stuff that's not skillful but has to be done as a young man. For some reason, you tell a young man he goes his whole incarnation without emotional intensity, I don't think he even gets anywhere, you know? Like when that demand comes, it's your turn. I'm not saying you go get locked up and go to prison. You know, like you look at black guys, they're shooting each other on the street because the outlaw archetype is just dominating them. They don't even have 20% control. It's horrific, right? By control, I mean, are you going to jail for what you're doing, right? Or are you getting chicks or are you getting a harassment charge? Like the guy more in control, let's say he's in 10, 20% control of his body and his thinking, you know, he's trying his best. That guy won't go to get the harassment charge, but everyone else will get, you know, if impulses are just ruling you, you will get that harassment charge. Your life will go to shit fast, right? Which is interesting because do you want the courage or not? Like, do you want to go talk to her or not? Do you want to say the thing or do you want to individuate or do you want to stay a child? You know, these are things that everyone battles. But it was so interesting to me that not only is nobody in my family lineage thief, like I had to break the curse. Like there's no thief in my family lineage. There's no thief in me. And I have to relate to someone like Dan Bilzerian, who is the opposite. He doesn't want the rush of running out of the store, running it with it on his hands. He actually wants to do it from his home office, scamming people or whatever. And he's not doing it for the rush because he has thief blood. He's the opposite of me. Like his dad, you know, if your dad is known for being a thief, I'm sorry, but that's huge. That's DNA. You know, I know this hurts some of you. Like, oh, my dad did this. Bro, if your dad is known for being a thief, chances are it runs in your blood. That's just how it works, right? You guys incarnated together for a reason. You guys are thief incarnations. I'm not saying you can't transform, but you know, it's very different. It's not like being repressed, not talking to girls. So you're, you know, beep, 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 running around, being a klepto and all that, trying to, I don't know if anyone else is like me, but has anyone repressed themselves to the point where they do everything in 1 year? Like you're so repressed that you go, you know what, 21 years old, I'm not only am I going to break the law, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to hurt my body, and I'm going to hurt that girl, I'm going to hurt everyone around me, and I'm going to hurt myself. And you just get it all done in 1 year, and then the new character comes out and you're like, whoa, that was not smart. I could have gone to prison. I could have, horrible things could have happened. And you realize you're like, oh shit, this is like it comes from a desperate place. But Dan Bilzerian, his incarnation is so interesting because none of his thievery comes from a desperate place. You know, he can't even go to jail. It's all under his father. It's like he's got when you think of a spoiled little bitch, I'm talking about like, dude, financially, not only did your dad give you $100 million and then you lied about it and said you made it from poker, but you know, forget that lie. It's more like, dude, you can't go to jail if you wanted to. Like, imagine taking zero risk and just being rich from your dad. And I love that he hypercompensates with trying to be like a masculine guy and stuff like that. But the whole, you know, at first he got no attention from anyone, right? After his whole, you know, we got bored of the bitches on the Instagram, no, because it's not even funny. It's kind of like you're paying women to be around you, bro. That gets really stale, and it's not relatable at all. And they're not chasing you at all. Like it's a money thing. It's your incarnation looks like a joke, actually. But in my chat and we used to shit on this guy all the time, right? But it was more funny. But I remember the most embarrassing thing that no one brought up recently is, do you remember when Dan Bilzerian called Andrew Tate and said, "Yo, Tate, I know you stole my limelight and all my thunder and everything, but," no, he said this. He said, "Hey, I'm winning Anti-Semite of the Year award. You got to catch up. You got to say more of the stuff I'm saying." He's trying to say that he beat Andrew Tate on something because Andrew Tate came in, took his space or whatever. I found that so embarrassing. If you see that video, I found that so embarrassing where it's like, dude, you shouldn't say that out loud because it sounds like you only got into politics because you're only getting likes from this. You're not, and think about it. You know, how did he used to generate likes? Is not from politics. So it's really fake. It's like, dude, I don't care if you're like helping the cause when your heart is in the wrong place and you're gonna attack someone who's been in the game 10 years like Nick. Dude, this is so. If you support Dan Bilzerian, you don't have to like Nick, but if you support Dan, you're kind of showing the world you're the fakest person online. You don't have to like Nick to realize any account you see on Twitter that supports Dan, even before this stuff I mentioned, it is like, dude, a fake incarnation that got all of his money from his dad and is untouchable. Really, he can't go to jail, and he lost his likes with the paying the women thing. So he got into politics last year, and now he's attacking the guy who's been talking about this issue for 10 plus years. Y- it cannot get any faker than this. You know, this is like a fake incarnation. Not just because his dad is a fake person. And by the way, if you come from a scamming family, it's like those people in high school who used to steal out of people's lockers. I couldn't even imagine stealing from another human because humans have so many problems. Ever since 6 years old, I knew this. I couldn't imagine stealing from another human, even if they were rich. From a big corporation like Walmart, I really don't give a fuck. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm talking about like hurting someone. Like you actively seek out to hurt them, or you phone call them and scam them, or whatever the fuck. But you're harming someone. And then you think of that's what his dad did for a living and went down, he went down for this shit. When you think it's kind of like, I love that movie Wolf of Wall Street and I love Jordan Belfort just because when I see him, I can't hide it, When I see him, I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I've met him and it's crazy. But there's this gut feeling in my stomach where it's like, dude, Jordan, you're a scammer. I'm nothing like you. I could never do what you did. And I saw one guy comment on Twitter. He's like, this is some Jew scammer and stuff like that. I'm like, that's the posture we need in society where it shouldn't be cool to be a scammer or pay girls $1,500 to hang out with your. None of that should get likes. None of that. And we live in a crueler world that the people liking that kind of content usually they get depressed and almost it's horrible for them, right? You can see everything about an incarnation by the shit they watch, It's like think of humans who watch gambling streamers, right? Now, is that even? I'm gonna just say it, dude. I know this is really, really against the stuff I preach, but I'm gonna just say it, bro. Those are not even humans to me. Like if you watch gambling streams, there's nothing about you that there's no thinking there. You're unconscious. There's no feeling there. There's no beauty in your life, and there's no adventure or will. Like you're literally not human. If those three are not a part of your life, you are not human to me. You are becoming something else. And Dan Bilzerian, it's not just because of his dad's blood in his veins. It's just a fake human all around. A guy who gets along with SNEAKO is a fake human being. Okay, Dan Bilzerian and SNEAKO get along because they're fake. By the way, Nick got to be the most patient guy on earth. Imagine having Dan call you and you're Nick. You don't want the bitches. There's nothing who tempts you. There's nothing in Dan's life that tempts him. So you have to just, there's no gain for Nick. You just have to listen to that call all day, on and on about the Jews. And it's like, thank God this breakup happened because it's like, you can tell when someone's doing it to when someone's smiling at you and saying, I won anti-Semite of the year. A lot of people are like, dude, Zherka, it's been a year and a half, 2 years. How come you're not on the anti-Semitic train and stuff? I'm like, because it's cringe. It's corny. It's like, dude, posting about that shit all the time. What the fuck are you doing? You look like Dan Bilzerian, bro. Get your life moving. And people attacked me for it until Clav repeated the message. And they're like, you know what? Clav listened to Zherka and it's working for him. It's like, of course it's working. Do you guys want to turn out like Dan Bilzerian, right? Imagine without the dad, though. No, it's cringe. There's nothing more cringe than trying to win anti-Semite of the year. If you're trying to stop kids from dying, that's a different story. But if you're trying to look cool on the internet and garner likes and stuff like that, dude, garner likes for the topics you're known for, right? The people are like, Zerko's like an Alex Jones channel. He talks about like Alex Jones shit. That's what he gets his likes from. He doesn't, you know what I mean? So when the whole world started trying the anti-Semitic, world thought, they joined that. They plugged themselves into that. That's when I got out. I was like, bro, this got cringe so fast. It's like how the whole world talks about Drake, and it's like, dude, are we Like Drake is literally he makes some good songs, but no one. I'll say this, man. You will never find a woman that doesn't cringe at you for listening to Drake when you play it in the car, when you whatever, unless she's a super fan, which is rare. And if she is a super fan, she enjoys listening to it alone, by the way, not with you. You look like as gay as Aiden looks when he's hovering around him, where it's like, I'm telling you guys how to be cool in person, that not all your impulses are the real you. That impulse you have to listen to Drake in the car with the girls, that impulse is gay. I'm telling you, you look gay in front of their eyes, and I'm the expert. I'm literally the expert at telling a guy to stop being gay. It's like, bro, I can fix your little gay bad habits because it's not the real you. The real you doesn't run on the Drake impulse and all that. It's gay. Okay. Same with anything trending. And if you're ever on it, you shouldn't be excited for anything trending because you're telling the world, you're leaking, hey, I'm not individuated. I'm still with the crowd. I'm still with the masses. And here's the sweet spot is you have to be on the bandwagon of trending things if you want to make money in the world. If you want to be successful, you have to be a part of the world. But do it in a way where you don't look like a. The reason why Zherka is still talking about a show from the when did it start? In the 1980s? Dragon Ball started? Or let's focus on Z. Let's focus on the 90s. Or really, for me, it's just the early 2000s, right? But I'm telling you guys right now, it's like, I don't step out of my lane to be a phony like you, okay? I don't watch the newest anime. I don't even know anything about anime. I know about what I like. But this whole, hey, it's trending, so I'm going to watch it. It's like, holy shit, you don't know how much you're embarrassing yourself. Because when you go home, when it stops trending, what are you? You're just like a gray blob of a human being, right? And by the way, you're on Earth to be more interesting, not less interesting, okay? You don't realize that your inner matching your external, your outer, is going to make you more interesting. And you always notice you're more interesting to yourself before your friends and family and all that, the people around you. Is there anything interesting about Dan Bilzerian? It's a manufactured fake human being. And if Nick Fuentes didn't exist, I could say that all this stuff and it would still be true. And a lot of people are like, yo, it's hitting you late to attack the guy. And it's like, I don't attack people just because they're beefing Nick on Nick's time. I'm not on Nick's schedule. I'm not on nobody's schedule. I'm on my schedule. But now that I have free time, I'm like, what did this say? Dan Bilzerian's literally Jewish, trying to solve the Jewish question, which, by the way, it's not hatred to say. There's a lot of Jewish institutions that are fucking you over. There's nothing racist about. And a lot of you fucking hippies tell me, Zerko, love all people. And I preach that you're supposed to work on yourself before you criticize someone else. But as you're working on yourself and someone's bombing children, you can speak up, homie. You don't have to. A lot of you spiritual hippies need to get the fuck out of my chat. You guys making comments like, well, if they all just focused on themselves, it's like, bro, there's dead babies involved. Like, it's time for you to speak up, And a lot of you guys are like, well, it's 2026. It's too late for me. It's not too late. It's not. Structure your soul based on what you see is wrong. If you see blood on the TV, dead kids, and you know it's not fake news because you did the research, you got to speak up, homie. You can't be like Dan Bilzerian speaking up, because in the beginning it was so awesome when he spoke up. I was like, look at this, man. This is righteous indignation. But the more I watch, the more I'm like, oh, this is for likes? Oh, he's doing it to be that guy? Oh, this is getting embarrassing. And then Nick had his analysis of Dan, and I'm like, unfortunately, that's everything I thought. Which I'm biased too. Like a lot of people are like, dude, if you've been watching Nick religiously since 2018, Zerka, you are clearly biased. And it's like, I am. I'm really biased. But I'm telling you right now, if you choose to go with Dan, you got to really ask yourself, where the fuck is it going? Right? The guy's talking about killing people. Like, that's just embarrassing, dude. If your incarnation ever tries to sound tough and say, hey, we should shoot this person or that person, it's like, dude, you've lost it. By the way, and you're the dangerous guy, because there's retards in your chat that'll actually go do it. And then And then what happens, right? And I'm not the guy who says, oh, and then there's censorship and all that. I'm the guy that says someone died. Like I found that really weird when Nick said, and then we get censored if one of your goons go out and kill someone because you inspired them. And I'm like, dude, that's not the issue. The issue is that someone died. God does not like that. Okay. So if Dan Bilzerian's talking tough, and the result is one of his chatters goes out and kills someone, the first issue before the system changes or the censorship comes is that someone died and we are all responsible for that, which is really interesting. It's like if you're in these spaces, like a lot of you guys are like, oh, I'm in these spaces trolling and I'm not responsible for. Dude, you're responsible for your thought forms. You really think that your will being activated, your will, you're not your true will, but your instinctive impulses to say certain things isn't being tallied? Like, think of the Catholic purgatory. It's like it's all being tallied, dude. And a lot of you guys don't realize that it's like being an online personality or whatever you guys are, chatters. It's fine if you have a check mark, but if you are the unconscious masses, you might be doing a horrific level of damage to yourself. And you have to go through and see all that. And it's traumatizing on the other side. I guarantee you guys are going to be like, whoa, what the fuck? Maybe liking Dan Bilzerian's post after he said he's going to kill someone. Maybe I don't want to do that. Right. Or you guys got to ask yourself why you incarnated in a timeline where you can like and dislike things. Is it just for fun? You know, where you have more of a say in what your soul does, where you have more of effect on the world. Your likes and dislikes, they really matter. That's why I try and curate people's timelines. I'm like, if your timeline could be just as soft and normal as possible, by normal I mean peaceful, like inner peace, some animal videos, some Dragon Ball, some just things that keep you human, because a lot of the other stuff is going to bleed in there and agitate you and make you, like and dislike horrific shit and do damage to yourself. And it's like, dude, draw the line at killing people. How about that? I think you should draw the line much. Let's say you're developing mastery over something. That's when I think you have to unfollow everyone. If you're getting close to entering the basics of your mastery, the basic level, so where you're a white belt, but you're finally actually putting the concepts together, and you're like, whoa, I think I'm entering the beginner stage of mastery. If you're in that beautiful sunrise of your life that starts at like what, 27, 28 years old for a lot of people, for very few people on earth, actually, you know, because mastery is a rarer thing than you think. But if you're in that part of your life, then unfollow this garbage. This is all junk, dude. Concentrate your time on that mastery thing. And, in the first few months, you'll be like, wait a minute. Why have I been at peace for this many months? And I'm telling you guys to even lock your comments if it means you go further in your work. If you lock your comments and nothing changes, then that's kind of stupid. But if you're actually getting through the material more and less distracted, then bro, keep it like that. And once you're active, you can go back to being active. But you know, don't make life harder for yourself. And Nick is a great example of true mastery, where it's like, dude, that's how much brain power I want you guys to use a day. And Dan Bilzerian, he looks like he doesn't use anything in between his ears. It looks very performative, scripted, and I'm not gonna lie, dude. There's something about Dan where it's like you look 6'10" online. How the fuck are you this short? And why the fuck are we? Why is anyone letting that pass? Okay, I mean, if you look short and jacked, like what the fuck is that about? Right? There's no president who was short in history. Why are you talking about politics? Right? And people will be like, "What about Nick?" And it's like, bro, Nick isn't president. Right? He's doing his thing. He's not president. Dan Bilzerian's actually trying to run for office. Like that's just crazy, dude. Right? And another thing is Nick could easily persuade everyone. Dude, when your thinking is that developed, that calculative, that's awesome. And Dan Bilzerian sounds like he's the Anna Kasparian of the guy's side of whatever the fuck's going on. That's who he is. He's the Anna Kasparian. She's like, oh, roll my eyes, not this clip. And just a human that gets lost in the sauce. That's who he is. He got lost in the likes and the shares and the follows and all that. And he says stuff like he doesn't care about fame because his first project fucking failed miserably. The Ignite thing. And I'm telling you right now, it's like, dude, the only project that worked for you is when your dad gave you $100 million. So stick to that one and don't lecture us, bro. You know, don't Nick's a Fed and all this shit. This shit's just embarrassing, bro. This shit's like you were sucking him off for years and now he's a Fed. Just enough. Enough. And the whole high school talk, you know, like bros, you could talk to me about bitches and we could get in depth about anything. Let's go on Jack Neal. But Dan Bilzerian can't go in depth about anything. He can only talk about bitches. He only looks alive when he's talking about his bitches. He looks like more awake. Because when he starts talking about Israel, it's like his face changes and he just completely goes into the world has to love me mode. And it's like, dude, this looks weak. This looks weird. And you're new, by the way. We don't trust you because you're new, by the way. Right? You haven't been doing this for 10 years. And even if you did, it just sounds wrong. Right? Like I like using Dan as a pawn in the movement to move a chess piece. But bro, when the pawn starts talking this much, it's like, shut the fuck up. You're a pawn in this. You are a pawn. Zherka's a knight. You know, I come in, do my little L, my L movement, give the L, and then I move away. Right? Like, know your place. You know, it's like if I started yapping about Israel for 2 years straight, imagine what you guys would be like, yo, Zherka, your heart's not into this. You know, it's not for you. I hope you guys would wake me up. You guys would be like, nobody wakes up Dan. It's like embarrassing. It's like listen to a fucking midget talk all day. I don't give a fuck, man. You're not if you by the way, if you're a midget, you should be a genius. What the you have to compensate one way, right? Can't be a dumb jock trying to convince me to fucking vote for you. That's retarded. I can't stand anything more than a dumb jock because how cringe is it when they speak, you know, when all their forces are elsewhere? It's like, dude, we don't want what you're selling. Even if it was good for the movement, we don't want it. You know why? Because if we buy from you, it means we become like you. We don't want to become like you at all, right? Unless it was the Dan before the paying the girls $2,000 each. I don't know if he ever existed. Did he ever get bitches without paying for it? I was convinced he does until you. I was convinced. I used to even defend the guy. I used to be like, nah, he gets bitches. And it's like, he's 5'8", maybe not. Like there's nothing in a woman's DNA that says you are 5'8", let's procreate. You are 5'10", like what? 0% of that. Like no woman that doesn't exist. You have to be Napoleon. You have to be Napoleon to get well, and they say he was a cuck too, and I don't even buy that shit though. I think they're trying to rewrite history, but some historians said that. Anyways, man, I don't know, dude. It's like I'm not attacking Dan Bilzerian a week ago when it was hot to attack him and trendy because that shit's cringe. I attack him because it's getting too seeing him on my feed every day, and it's like it's getting to the point where it's like nobody wants to be like you. And tell your Dan Bilzerian without paying women $2,000 each USD. I don't think a lot of people don't know. Yo, I can make 10 million today. $2,000 still a shit ton of money. I can make 10 million today, and I'd still think 2,000 is crazy amount of money. So just try and understand how much he's paying these chicks, right? And remember, his theory is that they get hooked on him. And I make the opposite theory that she's supposed to get hooked on the adventure. If you're going to spend the money and go on a vacation with her, that's great. You know, and that always works. And, you know, people have a lot of serious, um, they send me a lot of thank you letters for, hey man, Zherka, I like that I didn't spend $10,000 dating her all year. I like the vacation idea a lot better because then I get to just waste $1,500, 2,000, and our bond is much deeper because we're in a different world of thought. You know, different thought forms when you go to different countries. You know, so both of you level up there together, and you get to see the world together and all that stuff. And so a lot of people write me like, "Yo, that's genius! What the fuck? I always thought $2,000 were a lot until I realized." The intensity of the emotional bond that happens in 7 to 10 days and wherever the fucking Bahamas or wherever you guys like. And people are like shocked. They're like, Circle, that's genius dating advice. Holy shit. And then I don't have to spend a dime for the rest of the year. We're just watching Netflix in the rain. And dude, I saved so much money doing it your way, but it costs more in the beginning. And I'm like, dude, everything that comes everything that comes out of me is to benefit a young man, right? Because I want to live like a young man till I'm 70, right? So that's all I want to rewrite that OS, that program, right? So a lot of you guys don't realize that it's like it's written for me so I don't fall off my path. Because it's so easy to fall off your own path. It's so easy to get distracted in the world, right? I think the greatest quote in all of human history will always be that distraction is evil, or distraction is the definition of evil. Once you see that, you go, whoa, what the fuck? It is. And that's why I want that's why I delete all of my content from years ago if I see it, because I'm worried it'll confuse a young guy. Because if it's written better every year in 2022, 23, 24, and it's just getting sharper and it's, you want the best version of that, right? And a lot of people are like, well, why waste your time deleting it? And so I genuinely believe that if you help someone, there's nothing else to do on earth. There's nothing else to do. I guess maybe if you're 21, you can't help people. That's a different story. But I'm saying if you're less than top 1% male and you're not helping people, that's crazy. Like, what are you gonna do with your whole life? Is how do you even go to the next level in your soul? That's not even being 1% of a saint. When you think of what saints achieve, like you gotta achieve at least 1% of what a saint achieves, right? And you look at people who change the world, they'll achieve maybe 5% with a new technology that saves, gets paraplegics to walk or whatever. And like you should be thinking of it like that all of the trajectory of mankind should be pointed towards the saints in history. And I don't mean just saints, sages, I mean mystics, I mean everyone who was known for their moral character. You should be looking that way. You shouldn't be looking at the guy who has the bitches and the money and the damn Bilzerian and the blah blah blah. Hell no. Hell no. Like if you see it in me, you go, oh, Zherka's, well, he did it from the ground up and he did it alone and he did it banned and he did it without friends. And that's very different. But if you see someone, their dad gives them 100 million, like there's nothing in his soul that is going to benefit yours. There's no structure, there's no scaffolding, there's nothing. Reading his book is not going to affect you. It's useless. And then you see someone who's suffered a lot like Nick, and there's a lot in Nick's hole, in Nick's Nick's hole. Whoa. Pause. This is getting Freudian. There's a lot in Nick's soul, his scaffolding, his just the way he went through the world and suffered, that even if you're a black guy, you can benefit from that. Right? If you're a black guy and you got inspired to wear a suit and tie from Nick, he's already helped you tremendously. Or if you want more order in your life, which a lot of people don't realize, that not only are you scattered into pieces your whole life, but the whole point of life is to have enough pieces to play with, which is the chaos, right? Get out there, make it happen, and then putting the pieces in order. That's the whole, but your whole incarnation should look like Zherka, from chaos to order, not from order to order, which is horrible. Like, look how much chaos was in Nick's incarnation. You want to see these chaotic figures because you go, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. They had a lot of material to work with, right? And then there's more uptight people who go from order to order to order and they never pop off because there's no chaos. And you're like, oh, what the fuck, right? And then there's SNEAKO. It's like, dude, I don't know what it is with SNEAKO, but he cannot chill the fuck out. He always has to say something about everyone. It's like, dude, nobody would care if you weren't a liberal, but you're a left-leaning green flag liberal. You should not be mixing with anything red. No red flags, no red pills, none of that part of the internet. Clav could easily mix with that, right? There's some overlap there. But SNEAKO's channel has, for the last few years, which means his soul's changed forever. He's structured it differently. It's over. For the last few years, it's over for SNEAKO. Like, dude, you can't just snap your fingers and forgive someone if their soul is structured in a blue pill, green flag, liberal ass way. And by the way, I could easily hang out with a liberal like Destiny. This is like just blue. I think it's funny. But the green flag liberals, I could never hang out with them. I'm telling you right now, if you're an Islamic kind of person, there's way too much group soul activity happening where I cannot respect you. And it's not being racist or anything. I can see your imam saying something and it just changes your mind, you know, and which Christians, by the way, they don't change their mind because their priest tells them something. Christians are much more individuated, where they're more stubborn, and even the women, like they're higher level on that kind of psychic evolution. Let's be real, you know. And a lot of, you know, there's some esoteric channels that say, Zherka, that's not fair. What if you're developing with an Eastern mind and all you promote is a Western mind? It's like, I promote a Western mind because my followers are like me. So obviously, I'm going to promote this type of evolution. I'm not going to promote no fucking Chinese tanky evolution. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? I'm not going to get them to swim upstream. They won't even enjoy it. That's retarded. Uh, and SNEAKO is just like the worst kind of liberal in my opinion. Like a green flag liberal is so much worse than a blue. Something about the blue is like, okay, something happened to you as a kid. And well, it happened to all of us, really, but we went our different paths. And some people are like, well, Zherka, you were left leaning when you were like a teenager. And no, I was never. I was never with Che Guevara. I was never communist. I didn't like corporations, but that's about it. And to this day, I don't like corporations. You know, if you look at those profit margins, it's just evil. It's brutal. Yeah, I mean, in my system, it wouldn't be like that at all. But I'm no commie. I'm no left leaning fucking. I've never had that. Like, ever since a kid, I was just the kid who watched Dragon Ball. That's all I've ever been. So anytime a woman would act differently from Bulma, Chi or any Android 18, those are like three archetypal forces of three completely different female personalities. But when I see women acting out of that archetypal pattern, I always thought, and I don't care how pretty you are, you're trans, bro. You're weird. Get the fuck away from me, right? And so I grew up with that. So my world's very red pill, very, to me, it's really normal. I know it's not normal in 2026, but to me, that's extremely normal. And so when women get really feminist and up in my face, I go, yeah, it's funny, but you don't remind me of Bulma. You don't remind me of Chi Chi. You don't remind me of Android 18. You don't remind me of the trinity of femininity. And I'm not saying they're all feminine. They're very different personalities, you know, 18 strong and all that, but it's just done correctly with taste and in a way that makes sense. And I'm talking about to my instincts, to everything. And to me, it's like there's nothing sadder than a woman trying to look nice in front of me. Like, let's say she's trying to chat me up or whatever, and it's like, dude, you don't fit my childhood patterns of what a female is. Stop talking to me. You don't fit the soft female. You don't fit the strong archetype. You don't fit none of. You fit this weird mold of disgusting feminist type. And I feminists hate me because they can see me disgusted around them, like genuinely disgusted. And they hate that. Like no human wants to feel like, oh, I'm making another human disgusted of whatever you've structured in your soul is I know it's a part of the spirit of the times, and we have to get through this phase. But to me, I'm never gonna lie to myself. I'm always gonna say that shit's disgusting. Where do I see that most is with Dan Bilzerian. The way he talks is identical to a feminist like Anna Kasparian. It's like it started off cool and then it just became like this. You're dragging it on, mate. Shut the fuck up, man. Okay. And it's not because of Nick, bro. I was looking for a reason to just say this guy's gay as fuck. Because it's just like the beard, everything is just weird about when a human being doesn't change their look week to week, month to month, it shows me that they're really invested in that look. And it looks to me like the gay, it's like that guy who has a buzz cut for 10 years. It's like, bro, you don't have weeks where it just grows out and it gets messy and you like, what? If you've had a beard for 10 years, how's that even happen? Doesn't life get in the way? Like, how are you sustaining one look your whole life? You Google me, there's 1,000 different looks depending on what I'm going through, right? It's like, you know, I'm with the seasons. This idea that it's like SNEAKO, he always looks the same. He's always looked the same for the last 10 years. It's like, bro, you've had one look. Like clearly you're not in the world at all. Like you're in your head too much and you're just afraid. And it's just Dan Bilzerian's had a beard for 10 years. And it's like, dude, I can't trust someone who's that into their looks, like, right? The way Clive does looks maxing is just awesome, right? It's just awesome. It's just everything to win. He doesn't, he does everything to win. He doesn't have a beard for 10 years or whatever the fuck. He just does things to win. He doesn't have this like mold of himself. He's a changing soul that's alive. right? He's always updating the OS and stuff like that. He's trying out different looks and all that. And he's not, it's really just to win. It's not for him. Then there's Dan Bilzerian where it's like, I want to wear a white t-shirt and have a beard for 10 years. And it's like, and I'm not saying I think guys who are into fashion, but also this whole like I look like the same character for 10 years. It's like, bro, you didn't go through anything. You've just been playing poker for 10 years. Like, come on, man. You know, I think I have like a billion different looks, but it's not me trying new things. It's just, hey, life gets in the way. I couldn't get a haircut for a while. Like, you fucking tweezing your eyebrows, you fucking weirdo. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Right? At least looks max. Like, inject shit in your face, take it to the next level, right? A lot of people are like, well, since you don't do the stuff Glab does, then how come you don't shit on it? I'm like, it's hard to shit on someone who brings their niche to the top because that's a part of their soul, right? It's like, hey, man, that's you, and this is me, right? It's like if I brought all the Zherka, everything Zherka talked about, which if you notice is curated. Like I focus on talking about only two things. What brings me closer to mastery, which is my inner world, is like that's everything to me, and my inner child. There's nothing else about me. That's the only stuff I care about, and they're both inward things. I've had enough outward adventure and experiences. Now it's time to, get orderly and really maximize my life. But yeah, it's like most humans talk about outward things like Drake did this, Drake Iceman, Drake that. So you're right. Or hey, did you see this new video game or GTA? Or I'm excited for GTA, but I don't talk about it because it's cringe. It's like, dude, guys, if you're talking about everything outward in the world, you're leaking that you're like a hollow type of who the fuck are you? There's nothing, you can't even name anything that rotates around your world of thought. It's just nothing. It's just what Drake's here. Are you sure that's your thought? Well, I just listened to Iceman. Is bro, you're literally. And remember, I teach that it's better to be broke 5 years and build a really strong inner soul than be Aiden Ross. I'm telling you right now, it's way better to do it that way. If you put me on a lie detector and you say, would you rather have this incarnation or this one? I will always choose the one that gets the respect on camera. I will always choose the one where if you're hating on him, it's because you're jealous. You're clearly just jealous of the guy. I'll always choose the one that even if he's hated by the world would trade shoes with him in a second, even if he didn't have money. That's the guy, you know? And then there's Aiden Ross is like, bro, if you take out the money, would you trade lives with him? Everyone would say no. That means he didn't build maybe XUC is a better example, but I don't know. Like, who's the richest guy? You should be looking at humans like that. That's when you can get really transparent, you know? You look at someone, you go, what's inside of Dan Bilzerian? Pause, no homo. And then you go, whoa. So it's kind of an empty void in there, right? There's no chaos, there's nothing. There's no inner conflict. It's just an old man talk. It's just a beard with a white shirt talking to me and a weird haircut. And where's Dan gonna be in 10 years? You know? You ever think of things like that? I don't think he could ever make it in politics. Why? Dude, when you're known as being your dad's player, so basically his dad had a desire to have a lot of bitches, but because he got old fast, he couldn't do it. So the desire doesn't go away. It doesn't just stay in the astral realm. It actually pushes through Dan, right? Like my dad was so orderly, so disciplined, and all that. And so his chaotic inner masculine nature to get all the bitches, he didn't live it as much as he should have, but you can see it in his children, not his other two children, but in me, right? And so we're connected. We all incarnate together because we have shit that we want to do on earth like that. And so I don't know. It's like you could tell his dad paid for pussy too. Like, is anyone arguing that? Like, you just see it. Not to insult the scammer, but right, we gotta respect scammers. Like, his dad made this kind of a business and this kind of money. It's like, dude, it's a scammer. And I go as far as saying, Only people who are OnlyFans managers are not people I want to ever respect. Like that's how you made your money. That's kind of like I can't respect it because it never crossed my mind to do it that way. Meaning, my soul is structured differently from yours. And people are like, well, what about Clav and stuff? And it's like, dude, he has his own thing too. He's not known for that. He has his own thing going. He had 500,000 followers on his TikTok. Like he had his own thing going. What are you talking about? Like, don't delete someone's own thing they have to say it's one way or the other, right? But if that's how they made their money, like Andrew Tate, that shit stings, bro. That's like, dude, you're giving us a path to make money in a path that most of my followers don't want to be OnlyFans managers. Their souls don't. You could tell because if you ask them to do the job, they'll laugh. They'll be like, bro, that's gay. It's like, dude, why don't you do it for the money? It's like, no, that's gay. It's like the soul rejects it. It knows that in the future it's going to bother them. It knows that it's not worth it, even for this incarnation, because you just lose so much doing that. And yeah, so me and my followers, like, it's not even an option in our heads, right? Like 0% option. Which, by the way, I'm not totally against it the way Bradley Martin or these guys do it, where he's signing them for a YouTube thing and they have an OnlyFans. That's a little different. If you're going to be on someone's YouTube channel and they want to take a cut off you, I think that's extremely fair because these women are talentless. Like, completely, it's like, what are you talking about? Even though I didn't do it, I just let anyone who's in front of the camera get on the camera around me. I didn't give a fuck. No, I wouldn't want the world to be gynocentric and feminine, where the woman gets everything the guy gets. No, I like that you're taking a cut at them, right? It's not like you're making OnlyFans content with them. That's a little different. But yeah, a lot of people are like, you got to call him out for this, or you're not a homie. Dude, I'm not afraid of losing homies for an opinion. I'm not like those. I've never been that guy. I'm telling you right now, if you're a YouTuber and you put an OnlyFans girl on, to be on your content, but she has to pay you money to be on. I find that completely normal. Even though I've never done it myself, completely if I could go back, would I do it? Probably not. But if I came back from the future and told my younger self to do it, yeah, I would. Yeah, I could easily convince that Zherka. I'd be like, dude, she's a fucking hoe using you. That's like an easy argument to make. The fuck are you talking about? But the whole setting up a campsite like Andrew Tate and stuff, I can't get on board with that. If I can't get on board on something with you soul wise, I'll never respect you, period. Because I know you're infecting me. You're infecting me. I won't even do it. I'll just be thinking of it in a room like, should I do it? But I know I won't ever do it. I don't have a bald soul or whatever the fuck. Right? Yeah, and I really teach about inner structure because it calms people down. Like a lot of people have come up to me, they're like, "Yeah, I don't have a desire anymore to start a shady business, OnlyFans business, whatever the fuck, because of you, Zherka. I don't want to manage girls and stuff." I'm like, "Why?" And then they go, "Oh, it's because I'm always thinking of the inner structure, not my face, but how my face is actually forming. How am I?" I'm like, "That's a beautiful way to see the world, right? Because then your weeks, months." Hell, even your years, they don't look wasted on stupid, random thought forms, passive retardation of, oh, should I do this? Yeah, I don't want you guys all to be winners. Not to make this, I always have to make it motivational because I rarely ever talk to you guys on these spaces. Go to thezerkoofficial.com to talk. But yeah, man, it's like it has to be motivational because, bro, I don't have one. I like Nick. Besides Nick, I don't have one person I recommend you guys watch that I follow on Twitter. Period. And don't even give me names right now. Like that's how serious I am that I view people as under me. Like they're doing all the wrong things, but they have to go through those mistakes. I think especially in the spaces I'm in, it's like, or the part of the internet I'm at, it's like, if you don't live your life like Zherka, I genuinely find you to be like a mentally ill, especially because you know who I am, right? You're on my side of the internet. It's like, if you don't live your life like Zherka, I find you off balance, weird, boring, disgusting, degenerate, all of the above. It's like, and who's really doing it? It's like, dude, these people they're getting dumber, if anything. They're getting dumber and it's pathetic. It's like, and if I, yeah, what's weird is I think I'm the only human on earth that could say my interests are not subjective. My interests are objective. My interests are what every young man's interest should be. And I don't feel like I'm being biased when I say that. Like, oh, you have spent so much time with Zherka, so I'm biased that way. It's nope. No, it's genuinely to be a man, to be even a young man or a boy or everything that is awesome with the male incarnation is in the Zherka section. I genuinely mean that. Like a nerd can get something from that. A jock can get something. Everyone can get something from that. SNEAKO incarnation is like, what is he doing with his life? If you take Islam out of SNEAKO, what do you get? Zero. Like, what is left? If you delete Islam from SNEAKO, what do you deplete him to? There's nothing there. A lot of you would be like, oh, he'll turn red pill. He'll have the Kaioken oversoul. And it's like, no, he won't. That's out of his heart now. Which, by the way, it's been years and we're still red pill. It's like, it's not a phase. Red pill is not something you go through. Red pill is finding the love of your life, staying with her, and never marrying her because she'll take half your stuff. You have to have the spiritual marriage like the old ancient times. You can't have the government marriage with Moloch and Planned Parenthood and all that satanic shit. That's what red pill is. And a lot of you guys have never gave an invisible ring to a woman and she loved it and stayed with you. It's like a lot of you guys have never done that. It's like if you cannot give a woman an invisible ring that doesn't exist, it's just a thought form, she don't fuck with you at all. Bro, I've had girls cry over dumb shit like that. And it's not dumb to me, right? But bind it on a contract, which by the way, there's a lot of Orthodox and some Catholics, very few. You know, a lot of Catholics are really red pill. Like if you talk to them in the DM, they have the little Vatican flag and all that. And you talk to them in the DM and they give you all this stuff about marriage and Zherka, blah, blah, blah. And then you just ask them, okay, but are you going to sign that paper? And they go, well, if I had $2 million, I don't think I would sign it. If I was in your shoes, it's like, no, dude, if you have $2 million, you're not going to sign that paper. Well, you are, it's because most people do it. But you have to look at how consciousness is evolving, right? It's not the marriage you're convinced it's going to be, dude. An invisible marriage is a real marriage. She cannot take half your stuff and is staying with you because you're taking care of her and you are right for her. But as soon as that condition, by the way, while we're on this topic, because there's a lot of religious guys who keep DMing me about the marriage thing, and it's like, dude, I could be 70 years old. I'm not going to promote my audience losing half their stuff because suicide is a thing. If I'm linked to any incarnation suicide, that's way worse than anything about marriage, bro. I'm telling you right now, I will never be linked to any of that. You can be linked to that with your little gay comments, right? You guys are really fucking up the game with your pretending this is 2000 years ago. It's not even medieval times, bro. You're in 2026 where the person you're going to marry most likely had a three-way. That's the black pill, which to me, that is unacceptable. That is traumatizing. That is, even if it's like no one ever talks about it and it's a secret, that is fucked up beyond measure for me. But statistically, if she's hot, it's like, a lot of you guys in this with the city life, it's gonna look like that for you guys. You're not gonna have as many options as the top guys, and it's like, dude, that's gonna fuck you up. That is gonna fuck you the fuck up. By the way, there's a lot of people saying, Zherka, how come you're not jacked to fucking bits with your growth hormone? You just have like a beautiful, young-looking face with good skin and good hair, and you're just gorgeous and glowing. It's like, I thought growth hormone makes you huge, and it's like it does if you're on steroids and testosterone. But if you take it naturally, it's not going to do any of that, like at all, unless you're a fucking genetic specimen, which even that will take years. It's not like roids that'll be like in 3 weeks, right? And the dose would have to be crazy high. So a lot of you guys are expecting, like, it sounds amazing, like growth hormone does this, and it's like, no, it's not. Like inwardly, you know how effective it is, but externally, it's not steroids, it's not testosterone, and by the way, it's not pushing you past your like genetic limit. It's like working with your genetic limits, right? Steroids can go far, bro. If you inject a shit ton in less than 3 days, you will look completely different, bro. Like I hate all the studies say about steroids and testosterone. It takes 4 weeks. Bro, I don't even have bodybuilding genetics. Like a lot of guys who say, "Oh, your genetics were good when you were on gear," that's because you like seeing a tall, good-looking guy with perfect hair, and you're just seeing a Chad. That's why you think I have good genetics. But good genetics means Ronnie Coleman, you idiot. Good genetics does not mean like a more of like a basketball build and a taller, lanky guy. I'm talking about like Ronnie Coleman. His first cycle looked like 100 cycles for an average guy. Like, dude, and let's be real, he wouldn't even touch 25% of Ronnie in 100 cycles. You know, a lot of people are like, the more you cycle, the more. It's like, no, dude. It's how the genes are expressed. 50%. The other 50% is karmically how are they favored, right? Like Nick Fuentes cannot get that jacked running gear because he's karmically favored for thinking, right? It's not his consciousness isn't tied too much to his body. That's why he doesn't like gym goers and stuff like that. The reason why I don't like gym goers is because it ate up a lot of my time. Like you guys got to remember, in my day, I was unemployed, 3 hours a day working out at the gym, plus cardio, plus socializing there. So I was eating up my whole day for many years. And no girls, like a lot of people, like, dude, when you were in your streaming phase, you were avoiding women to be the top streamer and getting the subscribers and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but the bodybuilding days, I was getting no bitches because I was just training my ass off. And I was never, even with all that gear, I just wanted more and more. Like I get really obsessed with the mastery phase, right? And that's why I felt deprived. And when I'm bouncing and I stopped bodybuilding, I immediately jumped into the bitches because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not even gonna compete. And I snapped out of it after a few years. So when you look at my trajectory of my 20s, there's a couple years in bodybuilding, there's a couple years in this business, and then there's a couple years in streaming where there's zero women. And people are like, how do you do that? You're like a saint, you're like a monk. And it's like, dude, when I get into the mastery to me of what you're doing is way just your thinking becomes alive again. It's like it's so important to me, which is bad because you're not supposed to miss out on that many years of social life. If you look at a Chad incarnation, very few of them spend that much time alone like me. It's not healthy, not normal, counterproductive. A lot of people are like, oh, you make more money doing that. Not really. No, you want to be balanced, right? Because, for example, you could be right and, you could be winning this argument, but if you repress someone that much, they go to jail. They go to jail for, when it all bursts. Then how many years are you wasting? Of your 20s, too. That's why I teach people balance. Not so I can sound like Yoda, it's so you can go faster. And people are like, well, if you did it, I'm going to do it your way. It's like, that's not what, no master in history would ever give you their path 100% because they know they're fucking you up. The times have changed. It's 2026. We have to update the system a bit, right? If I give you Zherka motivation, I'm not giving you the exact same game plan. Well, Zherka, 22 to this age and blah, blah, blah. And no. That's fucking retarded, right? Try and stay in the middle for as long as you can because it's always going to be you alone. Yeah. And by the way, here's what the middle looks like. It's still isolation. It's still you alone most of the time. It's still you working your ass off completely alone, but then once a week you'll go out to the movies with your friends and you'll try and bring it back. And that is the truth about mastery. There, it's like even when you're perfectly balanced, it still feels like all of your efforts going to the thinking path. Nick promotes that too and stuff. And it's like, dude, I'm telling you right now, you can waste many years at the gym. Like these fucking gym. Have you ever talked to an Instagram gym guy, bro? They're fucking mentally ill. It's like life shouldn't be about chicken and broccoli and what. This is like the weirdest lifestyle. Go get yourself some wetness, bro. Get in some bitch. Do something with your fucking six pack, you idiot. You know? My buddies used to say, yo, Zherka, you fucking jack, bro. How the fuck are you not smashing bitches? I'd be like, oh, just a little more. If I get closer to these measurements, bro, that's autism. Whatever the fuck that is, I reject that from my personality. I don't like that. And I think it's from inward. I think it's much deeper than my personality. There's something fucked up about me that I could be that fucking jacked and still not party. Like, bro, no. No, and a lot of my buddies would be like, well, you got that jack compared to most of those guys in the gym who are taking gear because you were that into it. And it's like, okay, but if it's not for a trophy, then what the fuck is it for? Because you only have a couple of years before your liver says, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, a lot of people don't realize this is like before you have, you know, your body is going to signal to you. There's like this, like Varus is a good example. You know, I think I tried to tell him when I first talked to him, or maybe he wasn't in the space at that time, but I try to tell him, like, dude, fitness is the gayest route you can go to with social media, bro. It is the gayest route you could go through. Because in 10 years, your Instagram looks exactly the same. You're selling that protein powder, whatever. It's the same incarnation. There's no color, there's no adventure, there's nothing. There's not even bitches. There's just some fitness bitches at your gym, and it's not, there's no variety, there's no flavor to life. And I see this for a lot of things. It's like a guy who pops off for Minecraft. Who's Zherka? Yo, I got, I don't know why Minecrafters watch all my shit, but they'll have like 3 million subscribers and they always DM me, Zherka, I've been watching you since day one. And I'm like, how? You're a fucking Minecraft guy. We have nothing in common. Why the fuck? You know, and to me those are the saddest kind of people. Like they're rich as fuck, but to me that's the worst kind of life, where you're, how do you stop, because you're making millions off Minecraft but your life looks exactly in 10 years you'll be playing Minecraft, it's the same incarnation, nothing changes for your life at all, zero. And you look at the fitness guys, besides Larry Wheels, who's trying, you know, to get his life moving in a different direction. But it's like, look at Larry Wheels for the last 10 years, or Bradley Martin, or it's a lot of gym shit. But when Bradley Martin does things outside of the gym, that's when we see the real Bradley, and it's great. And because, you know, after 10, 20 years, it's like, it's the gym, bro, right? It's the same kind of people you're meeting at that gym. And fitness industry is, oh, to me, when I was super into the fitness thing, I was convinced that I would go to one of these expos and I would want to be like the guys who I'm, oh, this guy's more jacked, I gotta learn from him and blah blah. And you go to one of those expos and you go, oh, everyone, like everyone is a, hi, I'm Jeremy Bermuda, I'm Sadiq, I'm, you don't, I don't know if they're, but just, you ever see an incarnation locked into their mastery, like this is what I'm mastering and that's what it's all about. And it's like, but are you mastering that that thing you chose? Are you mastering it because you love it, or are you locked in and cannot do anything else? By the way, if you can't evolve, can't do anything else, how are you ever going to be a huge success? Right? Like, if you want Instagram to pay you, you will always be the poorest man on the internet. As a man, if your goal is to have Instagram pay you, you will be the poorest on the internet. As a man, you want to, best case scenario, you have Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. That is like the trinity of money for entertainment or whatever. And a lot of people say streaming, it's not. I don't want to shit on streamers that I know, but if I told you guys how much I know, everything of the inside stuff, if I told you how much streamers actually make, you'd say it's a lot of money. But if I told you how much influencers make in total, like I'm talking about the YouTube, the vloggers, the, if you saw the back end of YouTube or even some smaller podcasts, you would say, oh, wow, streamers don't make that much. Besides Aiden and Neon, I'm telling you right now, like they get the most marketing, and but they, I'll just say it like this, they get shafted hard and they're still 30 times X, 50 times X, sometimes even 100 times X what the best Instagram fitness guy is making. So when you enter the world of social media, you're like, I'm going to get my life started. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The first thing you have to know is, wait a minute, if I sink my toes into this bucket, there's no money there ever. But I need money to travel, to go to these places, to do my, what I came on earth to do. Yeah, life requires energy. It requires money. And it's like, now, if you're a girl, you could never say that to a girl, because I think girls do good on Instagram. I don't know how. I've met a lot of hot Instagram girls, and they look like they have money. They fooled me, right? And I've met some famous OnlyFans chicks who like live broke. It made no sense to me. I guess no money management skills. But man, is there anything worse than like mastering something for 5 years and realizing, obviously mastery pays no matter what field you're in eventually, but it will brutalize you to realize, oh shit, I'm a man in the Instagram market as a fitness guy. And you know what? Maybe, and the worst part is, I've seen this happen to a lot of guys, especially from my city. They'd be like, Zherka, now that I'm at the top of Instagram, I'm competing at a physique show and I'm doing this. I have a problem though. I'm like, what's the problem, bro? And they're like, well, to win this show, I got to be on pharmaceutical, best types of, your level of growth hormone. And I'm like, okay, how much that does that cost a year? And they'd be like, well, 20, 35,000 a year to get started. But to win, I need like $50,000 worth of everything in total, not just the growth. And I'm like, okay, so just do that. And they'd be like, dude, I'm broke. I have nothing, my savings. I got 1 million followers and blah, 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 blah. And I paid for this Mercedes. And I'm like, wait a minute. To continue to progress in your evolution, your incarnation, you need money or else you can't go to the next level. Why don't you just work out harder? And they're like, well, that's not how it works. And you don't have that much time because you're getting older and your body's not going to take all the drugs forever. And it's going to reject it eventually. And so I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. There is a time in your life where it says you need money to keep going, but not a little more, not a lot more, a shit ton more. Right? It's same for like the YouTube vlogger channels. They come up to me, they're like, yo, Zherka, I have this many followers. I'm beating you. I'm this, but I'm broke and I have to travel to India to do a vlog. And how do you make money? And I'm like, dude, to go to the next level in your vlogging, it's not just about going in debt and shit. It's like, dude, I'm telling you guys right now, when you're entering your field, you're becoming a winner and all that, there are going to be money blocks, huge money blocks. And you're fucked. There is no one on earth who's going to tell you, there's a lot of guys who say, go into your credit card, bro, and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, when you enter a market, make sure it pays. Okay. There's like a lot of people are like, well, what if I love doing this? It's like, no, 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 no. If you love doing it, that means you love going all the way. If it requires money to go all the way, you have to fix that too. By the way, that's the hard part of life, is because the passion doesn't pay for years until it does. And then, you're in this weird place where you were right, your intuition was correct, but you want to go to the next gate. And you're kind of, you know, and that's why the fitness industry died off, right? No one gives a fuck about the fitness guys anymore, right? Then there's the other side where it's like the streaming side, where how much are these guys spending to be relevant? It's I don't want to insult people, but man, it is brutal to stay relevant in streaming. I didn't even know that's a thing. When I had my turn, it was like I had no idea you pay for marketing and stuff. I thought people put you on because you're fucking hilarious and the world fucks with you and shit. And they're like, no, Zherka, that's just you. You're going hard. And I'm like, what? To keep it going? Because your content can't always be fire. It has to get a little stale and boring. Sometimes you just like think of early Aiden versus late Aiden. Like for the last couple of years, it's been boring as fuck. And that happens, right? And and you have to pay money to stay on top of it. That always bothered me because it's like, all right, yeah, sure, if you're rich, you can do that, but you gotta feel like a schmuck doing that. Where you gotta feel like the biggest faggot to pay for people liking your shit. Right? Forget. I'm just talking about you when you're alone with the mirror. That's got to be the worst feeling in the universe, right? It's like, yo, keep me relevant, Clippers, keep me relevant, and it's like, I'll give you 20,000 a month, and it's like, but you didn't start off like this. You did it organically. I don't know. There's something about going from organic. It's like just watch your views go down. It's not a big deal. Like, and you're still organic, but yeah, you can always see they lose a lot of inner confidence. They lose that light in their eye, but they're paying a shit ton for their marketing. It's like it's this weird space where our influencers going to take over Hollywood. They're already doing it, and it's like they're paying for it, dude. At least the Hollywood guys, as gay and liberal as they are, at least these motherfuckers can act. They have a mastery over. Imagine Zherka defending Hollywood. This is like the first time in my life I'll be talking like this about these fucking haters, and a bunch of them are like queers to us. But these guys can act. Like Timothy Chalamet, the Jewish kid, you can make fun of him all day. He's a high level actor with a mastery in his field. Like, of course, he deserves that big fat contract. You have mastery over nothing, right? You think Neon has a mastery over anything? I think Neon had a mastery over entertainment when he was insulting everyone to their face. But when he realized he couldn't do that anymore, it just became like, I don't know, what do you call this? Like a watered down neon, looking for love neon, buying women shit neon. And it's like, you'll always see an increase in money. Like, oh, he made millions of dollars when they lose that like light in their eye. Have you noticed that? Like, oh, he made $1 million. And then they're never the same. And it's like, dude, you don't even laugh the same way. Everything's different about you. And it's not an aging evolution thing. It's like you're went the other way kind of thing, you know? And so that I guess that's like the most brutal part of life is like when you realize if you love the thing you're doing a lot, you'll do it for free. You know, and I've done that, everyone's done that, right? And your niche becomes the biggest thing on earth. But you also have to think of the money component that life is expensive, especially when you want your footprint on earth, where a digital footprint, you want to see it in your next incarnation, 500,000 years from now, you want to Google yourself with like the newest type of internet softwares, which won't even be, hopefully you'd be developed enough to meditate back into your memories by then. But if you can't, you go on the internet, you go, oh, that was my last incarnation. That guy was Zherka. Holy shit, was he? You know what I mean? That is a great feeling to have. And it's strengthens soul continuity. But man, when these guys fucking DM me, they're like, besides the Minecrafters are the only ones who never talk about money because it would be like it would be like them shitting on everyone. Like when they DM me, they're pretty much DMing me like I shit on all of you. Like, no, they're not cocky. They're more introverted like that. But I found that so weird. It's like everyone I've talked to in this industry, they'll be 21 years old and they don't think of the money part. And I didn't even touch the internet till the internet found me. And then when I saw how much money there is on the internet and how much money is energy, right? You can really. By the way, if someone's ever giving you something for free, they're evil. Free means evil. Okay, right? Look at Dr. Robert Gilbert's programs. They're really expensive, and he's next to next to saint level kindness. He would never harm a fly, right? But I'm telling you right now, like, it costs energy in the world to get more energy. Like, that's how it works. And it's like when you buy a software program, right? You buy the expensive one, you're kind of happy with it. You buy shitty shoes and they got holes in them and shit. Not saying you guys should get ripped off and stuff, but I'm saying the world gets hella expensive, not for your lifestyle. And lifestyles are never expensive. Most people can just live their broke nigga life. I'm talking about going to the next level and stuff. Even the streamers, like they're so watered down, they have to pay 20, 30,000 a month to stay relevant. And obviously it's a good business strategy, but all these kind of breaking even business strategies, when you look at how much they're making, you're like, okay, you're like a corporate lawyer. That's your salary a year. But if you didn't have these limitations, you'd be rich as fuck. But you're pretty much a corporate lawyer with all these. You have to pay this, you have to pay rent, you have to pay streamer house, you have to pay. When you look at everything, you go, what the fuck? I'm getting ripped the fuck off in every direction doing this shit. You know? That's why you don't see too many streamers. And I don't know why Larry's in the game, right? It's very strange. And streaming doesn't even make sense. Like if you look at Dean and he was just in jail for a girl and stuff, that's how it always goes. Like streaming always ends up to someone in jail or dead because you see the views and you're like, oh, this gets way more views. And you don't realize till you're doing it that oh wow, dude, one time Mike and I got into a big fucking bar fight with a couple guys in LA with Mindy, Megan, and some of the girls and stuff like that. And the guys pull out knives on us. And Mike and I look at each other like, we're taking this too far. But our cameraman says 12,000. We went from 2,000 to 12,000 views. No bot. Obviously, because he's getting fucking hectic in LA. And Mike and I looked at each other like, okay, let's go milk this. And we kept the beef going as they're fucking holding, or one of them's holding a knife. And we kept it going because we saw the viewer count. And then I think it was years later, I was like, Mike, that has to be the least free we've ever been. Like you know what I mean? Freedom means, this is stupid. This is definitely stupid what we're doing. But to be unfree means you look at the viewer count, you go, you know what? Fuck it, it's worth it. Even if we get poked up a bit, it's worth it. And then, years later, you go, whoa, that comes from even though you had made it at that time, you had made it in a way where you're still desperate. I consider that desperate. You know, when you think of your family and friends seeing that, they're like, dude, it's just 12,000 viewers. But to go 2,000 to 12,000 is huge, man. It is fucking huge in like an hour. And I remember thinking, I'm like, no way Mike will do this. But Mike was like, man, he was crazy back then. He was really into it. And yeah, looking back, and those guys looked at us like, how are you not afraid of us? Because they didn't really understand the thing. And looking back is like you ignore the fear to do something stupid. That's how people die, actually. You know, like, dude, that's how people die, right? And well, I guess it looks stupid when your friends and family say, "Hey, man, that's evil." You know, if we lost you, what would we do? And you're like, "Damn, you know, streaming really got in my head like that." Streaming got in my head so much that Anna Var used to cry on stream, and me, the nicest guy on earth, would like, I gotta get like, I would get really into it, man. The more she cried, I'll just see the bump in viewership. I'm like, Anna, no, no, don't cry, no, just, just stop it, Anna. And oh no, she's crying, guys, she's crying. Chat, emote only mode. And then, you know, my buddies would be like, don't emote only mode, bro. Like, let the chat run. And it would just be my fucking KW faces all over that. And it was twisted because even she enjoyed crying with a bunch of people watching because she was getting into the fame thing too. So it was just like everyone was evil, not just the person laughing at the crying. Yes, there's something about streaming that's like extremely dark, right? And it's all like, because you know, you go into it with the mindset of be yourself, and then it turns into, oh, this gets more views. And then you convince yourself that's the topic you enjoy. And then she's crying, and you're like, man, fuck, this bitch is lying. This bitch is crocodile tears, crocodile tears. Yeah, and that's where to wrap it up. That's, you know, I wrote this down. That's I wrote this shit down, bro. Don't get too off track. Stay on target, and the target is SNEAKO, bro. SNEAKO loves when people cry on his stream. The guy's pure evil, man. That guy is pure evil, bro. It's just, I don't know if evil's the word, because when SNEAKO's chill, he's like one of the chillest, most normal people ever. But then he looks at his, you know, did I make enough followers this week? He has that thing in his, he always worried about his image and what will chat think, right? Like I remember he used to say, what would chat think, Zherka, if they saw you doing this blow, this coke? And I'd be like, what? Who's chat? What the fuck are you talking about? And he'd be like, chat, you know, chat. Like if they saw you like this. I'm like, oh, you mean the my fucking ATMs? They're the ones funding this shit. They're the one. What are you talking about? They're my ATMs. They're fun. I used to have an ATM emote because I'd go on streams with like liberal girls on Twitch, and I'd be like, "Do you like your chat?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I love them. They're so sweet. They check up on me and stuff like that." I'm like, "Really?" Because I just use mine like ATMs. Like they're soulless people that if they jumped off a bridge, I wouldn't. Obviously I'd feel bad, but tell me in the morning, because I used to stay up all night streaming them. Tell me in the morning. I used to talk like that, and my chat, 2,000 viewers of Keck W, they loved it. And one of the girls started crying. I find me the name of the girl who started crying. She started crying, and she's like, "I can't do this anymore." And she leaves the call to talk to her chat, and it wasn't fake or she wasn't trying to look cool online or any of that. Like she actually cried because of how cruel I was being to the. Because I was like the highest paid streamer for the last like 8 months at that time. I was like beating Pokemon's subscription count, not sponsors, but subscription count. I was shitting on the game, like 6,000 subscribers for a smaller channel. It was fucking gnarly. And she started crying, saying that that was the most evil thing I've ever heard. Like, Zherka doesn't know, I can't even pay rent with my 50 viewers, and he has 2,000 viewers watching right now. And he's saying that he doesn't care about any of them. And I'm telling the truth. Like, who the fuck are these people? Like, they're just people sending me money. Like, who the fuck bro? When people act like, yo, they care about chat, it's like, name him. Name. Because here's what it is, bro. When you stream a long time, it's not people. Like, you know, a lot of you guys DM me, you're like, oh, Zherka's responding to me as an individual. No, I'm not. I see you guys as like a group soul. You guys just have udders that I fucking just milk. That's what I see. And my only game plan is, as long as you don't scam them, you can milk the shit out of them. That's fair, right? Right? It's like I like to get I don't mind getting milked if the program I'm buying is really good software, right? It's like I think that's a that is market capitalism there. But anyways, like SNEAKO, man, he's Dan Bilzerian. Like, who are these people? Like, I like making these calls on these spaces to remind people what it sounds like to actually have fun with social media. Because the way these people are going about is like they always have that constipated face. It's like, shut the fuck up, bro. You guys attacking Nick, you don't hate Nick. You wish you were Nick. That's the truth. By the way, everyone going at the king is just embarrassing. It's like first of all, Nick wouldn't be perceived as a king if you guys didn't make him like that. But you guys are so focused on him, it looks like he's your god, actually. Like when Dan Bilzerian's focusing on Nick, it looks like he's the greatest fanboy ever. It's like, bro, we're trying to spare you from looking bad on the internet. You look like that's your actual god, bro. Like, relax. Okay? It's like JW, man. JW's always Nick, Nick, Nick. And it's like, dude, is it coming from a place of insecurity? Yes or no? Yes or no, bro? You know? You guys gotta relax with this shit, man. Another thing is the guy's been doing this a long time. I think we trust him more than Dan Bilzerian and the leaf that is SNEAKO. I don't even have hate for SNEAKO. I don't have anything bad to say about SNEAKO. I'm just saying that for as long as SNEAKO's an influencer, I'll always be on the team opposite to him, right? He represents everything that's liberal. Right. Remember, I don't mind if you're a consistent liberal like Hassan Piker, a fucking homo, going to jail forever. I don't mind that because at least you were consistent. But this whole I'm a new liberal type, right? Or when SNEAKO, there's clips of SNEAKO on the street and someone goes, "You've chilled out now," which they're calling him a bitch to his face. They'd be like, "SNEAKO, you've chilled out now. You've really chilled out now." And Sneak will always smile and be like, they'd be like, "You're more left now. You're more liberal now. They're calling him a changeling, and he'll smile. He'll always smile if he's called more liberal or more tolerant or whatever the fuck. Right? It's like not even real it's fake tolerance. But yeah, you'll always see that. It's like, like his biggest fear is to be called red pill, and it's like, bro, you're great at your biggest smile from ear to ear comes from being called gay or you've changed, you're more like us now. It's like, dude, this is not a healthy thing at all, like at all. You should always see a person evolving and not always having the same strong opinions, but there should be a theme to the incarnation. There should be a theme going in a direction, right? I could easily attack Nick for not seeing the SNEAKO deception sooner. But Nick is consistent, bro. Like, isn't the most beautiful thing about a human is their consistency? That even though Nick, Hassan Piker, and Zherka change over the years, there's a theme to their name. Like, the name signals something. Oh, that's Hassan. That's Zherka. That's Nick. At least whatever demon is eating them up inside is evolving, but it's not going away. It's not like change. You're not changing what's eating you up inside to something else like SNEAKO. He's changing it like a leaf blowing in the wind, bro. And bro, I'll say this: until my dying breath, I don't want to attack Islam too much, but online Islam, which is a different kind of religion, I don't think there's anything worse for the world than those thought forms they engage in. Like, online Islam has to be the greatest cancer ever given to society, more than Zionism, more than, because let's be real, they're instigating a lot of it. They're instigating so much of it. It's like, dude, we're in the Christian side. We love you guys. That's why we send you messages of Jesus. But this messages you guys sent us is probably like, and I know it comes from your degenerate family members, right? It's in your blood to do that. You guys are not as individuated, but it's like, I don't tell people Jesus Christ is God to be an online crusader or be that guy, or because I'm religious. I'm not. I'm none of those things. I'm none of the things you can label me. None of them, right? I'm not wearing a social mask where I pretend I'm a good little Christian, not fucking bitches. And I don't do none of that. I'm not a little saint or any of those Templar channels, but I started the Templar shit. Don't forget that. And I'm telling you right now, if I'm none of those things, then you know it's not a LARP when I tell you Jesus Christ is God. There's nothing. nothing LARP about this message. Whereas when you guys tell me about Allah and stuff, it's LARP. It's you guys are at the nightclubs and shit. You guys are all phonies, right? Live your authentic self and then tell me who is God. You could never do that. You freak the fuck out if you showed people what you're doing in the shadows. And I'm not saying this as like a fundamentalist Christian where it's like, oh, you got the wrong God, you're going to hell. I would never say that. I'm saying, and I'm not saying you're going to be punished for not knowing who God is. I'm just saying you're going to feel like you missed out in that in between period on the other side. You're going to feel like you missed out. You're going to feel like, oh, Zherka's kind of not trolling at that part, right? Oh, it looks like he's actually self-remembered enough to help the world. Yes, I have. I don't self-remember video games like you guys, man. I don't self-remember my childhood. I don't do no sentimental shit. I'm here to benefit the world. Even if it means I'm excluding myself sometimes, that's fine, right? I think I'm the only human who will say this, but I don't even mind being a little late to the party in heaven as long as I get more souls up there. I really don't mind. And I'm not saying I'm a bodhisattva. I'm not saying that I'm taking a vow right now. I'm just saying that that is the direction my heart wants to go in, where it's like, if rockstar Christianity does not benefit the world, I wouldn't be doing it. Period. Point blank. I would not be doing it at all. And I'm worried you guys are gonna like. Let's say I became a fundamentalist Christian type right now. I would be the Christian version of SNEAKO, like where I'm hiding the Xenas and the strippers and you know what I mean. Not that I'm doing all that stuff, but I have the option, right? I always keep myself free. I always have the option, right? I don't run away from my age. Which, by the way, some of you idiots are. Some of you guys are thinking that 32 years old is the same as 10 years ago. No, it's actually a lot younger. I'm not just saying that so I get more time to party. I'm saying that is the spirit of the times where a lot of you guys are going to be convinced to have kids around 30 and it's not the move. Maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but right now, economically, I think your baby could starve to death, bro. Like, I think that's what's going to happen to you. Like, when I warn you guys about that kind of lifestyle, I'm really telling you that everything Andrew Tate's saying is not actually going to increase the population at all. Telling people to have kids isn't going to make them have kids at all. A lot of people think that's how promotion works. It's like direct and stuff, but you have to look at the soul needs of who's incarnated, what does the unconscious masses really need. And look, man, in my perfect society, you'd have to have mastery to have kids. I don't mean just like beginner mastery of like a 30-year-old guy. I'm talking about like real mastery. Okay. The whole phenomena of loser dads, dude. If there's more winners on earth, you start winning more. Did you know that's how it works? When you start seeing if you see 5 jack dudes in Walmart at every aisle, you immediately think of your girl and you go, whoa, what the fuck? There's competition. It's time to hit the gym. And you get pumped and you don't even realize it happened to you. But if you see a Walmart filled with fat asses, you don't give a fuck about working out. So you got to understand that it's like, we don't need more people on earth the way everyone says it. We need winners first. We need winners. We need to change the system. Like, the biggest pandemic on earth right now is being a loser. I had so many of my buddies' moms talk to their kids like, honey, everything will be okay. And their mom would never call them a loser or anything. Not that my mom did that, but my mom certainly focused on telling me she doesn't like losers. And I'd be like, really, mom? She's like, yeah, I don't like losers. And even my dad, he'd be like, look at that guy. He's a loser, right? It's some guy shooting heroin. And you grow up and you go, yeah, that is a loser. That guy will kill you with a knife, by the way. Not that you shouldn't buy him a sandwich, and you should. But also, like, don't get stabbed by a fucking demonically charged, that's a lot of demon forces with that heroin. And it's like, yeah, when you start seeing the world of winners and losers, not to make a judgment right away, but dude, I'm telling you right now, you can condition yourself to thinking those are just humans. And you think you're becoming like, oh, I'm being like a monk saying this. No, you're not. You're actually conditioning yourself that you're also human. You should become like them. No, dude, this world needs winners. Dude, I'm telling you guys get inspired by one dude popping off on the internet. Some of you guys got inspired by me. Yeah, there's 100 me's in different colors and one's different, one's about money, one's about this. That's a better world, right? Like a lot of you guys think, oh, having one Ronaldo on earth is good. No, you want like 100 Ronaldos in 100 different sports. You want as much inspiration out into the ether as possible. Because man, it takes so little to change your life. In inspiration, I'm saying. Inspiration goes a long way, right? It takes just a bit of encouragement to help someone out, just a little tiny bit, but it doesn't exist. 8 billion people on earth, and there's no encouragement anywhere. Because a lot of humans, unfortunately, they see through bullshit. When they're depressed, they get a lot of depressed souls can see through self-help or whatever Andrew Tate's saying, and they go, oh, this is not for me. This is like for some OnlyFans manager. There's a lot of people on earth that can see through it, or maybe they're too depressed to see it, but they can just go like, oh wow, no one's out encouraging any part of my incarnation. It's like if there's 8 billion people on earth and zero inspiration, it's all just fake self-help bullshit. Dude, that's a horrific world. And not to change your mind about the world, but it's not something you want to encourage. You want to encourage winning in the world. Winning is, by the way, don't confuse it. Every spiritual master becomes a winner. They become the biggest winner out of all of them. I'm not just talking about financially, but they get incarnations where there's no money involved. And inwardly, just they know it, they're the biggest winners still. But then they figure out, listen, man, when you figure out how to use that machine, which is your body and mind, let's focus on the mind. When you figure out how to use 1% of it, 1% of it means you're a millionaire, right? Try to go to 10% by the time you're dead. Okay. And 10% doesn't mean you're a billionaire. It means your feeling life expands, your willing life expands, your athleticism, every other area. But man, it's like we have people like Dan Bilzerian, SNEAKO, and what is Twitter even about anymore? It's like this shit's just embarrassing, dude. This shit's just embarrassing because it's like Nick promotes concentration and mastery of thinking. Not that he's a master of it, but he's damn near up there, right? He promotes it so well indirectly that it's like anyone who attacks him is to me looks like they have horns on their head. It's like, dude, get one suit and tie nigga to talk to the youth. That's all we need. We look, man. SNEAKO talking to the youth, Dan Bilzerian talking to the youth. What are they gonna talk about? Like, we're looking at moral losers? Like, bro, you're hooking up with a bunch of strippers. I don't even do that. I went to the club for 5 minutes. We laughed, and then I said, "Nah, this is stupid. Let's get some fucking glizzies. Let's get some hot dogs. Let's do something else." And we went and got food, and we had even more fun. And it's like, but SNEAKO in the shadows, just piping strippers. Is like, bro, morally we don't want to be like you. Okay, that's just weird, right? And the stuff you talk about is kind of weird. Okay, it's not even Islam. It's online Islam. It's something completely different, right? If you ever meet a very religious person, they rarely want to convince you with their dying breath. You know, they want to inspire a change in you. They don't want to convince you like it's the last thing they do on earth. That's someone who wants to dominate you, right? SNEAKO has the spirit of a cuck that wants to dominate, but it just cannot do it. It's just like its nature is to go back to some kind of power grab. His power grab is hanging out with hairy people, and it's like, dude, it was cool for like a couple months, but it's been years. Nobody likes it anymore. Like nobody, nobody's down with that kind of content. That shit is really boring, and it's not even your true nature. You can see SNEAKO's true nature when he starts doing normal shit. But unfortunately, he has to get radicalized more because he came from a place with no power. Now he feels like he has an army with power, and it's like, I guarantee you, this is my next prediction. 10 out of 10 predictions always. My next prediction is SNEAKO will be extremely radicalized in the next 5 years to the point where everyone says, I'm glad I got away from that. Right? Like Stinger and I do good views together. You have to ask why I rejected chilling with him 5 times in a row, and he called me weird for it. And in the nicest way possible, I said, I don't want to be a part of your karmic stream. Like whatever you're putting out in the world is, I don't want that. And then within, I think, a year, some dude attacks him on the street and chokes him out. And I'm like, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but I guarantee you more of that stuff's going to happen to the guy. And it's like that kind of. I'm not saying that I'm not saying he wants that to happen to him. I'm saying he's unskillful with the way his thought forms shoot out. It's so I've never seen. It's just I could see something going horrifically wrong, and when you warn a guy a million times, like, hey man, it's not skillful the way you're approaching the world. It's really not skilled. You're not getting anything in return from this. He doesn't want to hear it. And I was a nice guy. I sent him a whole PDF or a whole video. I said, watch this. And it was out of concern. And he trolled me. And I remember thinking, like, okay, you're trolling me when I'm concerned about you. Within a year, he's getting attacked on the street and he's always in online beefs and stuff. I'm like, yo, this guy's just a quarrelsome soul. Like he has to beef the world because something happened in his childhood. It's not someone you want to be around. And that's why I was shocked when Nick went to New York to hang out with him. I'm like, are you retarded, bro? Like the guy's energy is not. You don't want to link to that karmic stream, especially because he converts people into like not even Islam, like online Islam is like a different thing. It's I don't want that at all, like zero, right? My best bet will be that SNEAKO will be the ginger that gets super radicalized, and he'll do it after he's had enough of the world. Like one day he's just gonna have enough of the world, and he's gonna get really extreme, and it's gonna be unbearable. It's going to be unbearable, and I guarantee you he'll be in Hassan Piker's position. I guarantee you he'll be right there. And because remember, he leans on politics a lot. I don't, right? I think politics is fun, but leaning on it means that you need uh, public support all the time. And, it's kind of like it's coming from weakness, bro. It's kind of, you're not Plato, bro. It's coming from weakness. And so I can see him be so radicalized that he'll either go to jail, something horrific happen, knock on wood, or the worst of all, not the worst, but probably the best case scenario is, and not for us, is he becomes the next Hassan Piker, which really that's what his channel is about right now. Like if you hear him talk, it's like the same opinions. It's unbearable. I could never do that. I could never ever sound like a liberal, even if I embrace my hippie side. And some of you guys don't know how much of a hippie I am. I met a dude in Colombia, went to this party with a bunch of gringos, like a bunch of Americans and stuff. There's a bunch of people there. And this girl's giving me attention and stuff like she's bad as fuck and all that. And I'm making jokes like, yo, I'm gonna marry her. And then the guys who live in Colombia, the Americans, one of them comes up to me. And he's a super nice guy. He's with his girlfriend and stuff. He's like, Zherka, you don't want to marry her. I'm like, what the fuck? He doesn't know when I'm joking and stuff. But anyways, we're partying together and stuff like that. And my heart chakra is blown wide open, right? And he's like, I can't believe how chill you are in person. Like you barely even scream at the top of your lungs. Like you've been smiling for 5 hours straight at this. We were at a 30-hour party in one room. It's fucking awesome, actually. And people come in and out and stuff. And it was like 20 chicks and 5 guys. And he's like, dude, you've been smiling for 5 hours right there. And I was talking to everyone and, being social and stuff. And he's like, I cannot believe how chill you are in person. And I'm like, well, there's no debate. Like, there's a party setting. It's not a debate setting, right? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I turned to him, and I know I must have scared the shit out of this guy, but I guess he was just blitzed out of his mind high. And he's telling me he's a fan and stuff, and I'm like, bro, I appreciate that. And I just turned to him in the middle of the party, and there's like a bunch of babes over, and his girl's talking to a girl, and he's like, oh, maybe I convince my girl to bring these people and stuff over after. And like, we're getting along, and I turned to him, and I'm like, the meaning of life is this. And I point to this really ratchet party with beautiful people, but, like they're going hard. And he looked at me like, what the hell? And I'm like, yeah, this is love. Because, it was a party where everyone's getting along. Very rare you see a party like this. It's like you really have to generate strong thought forms to magnetize a party like this. And since I'm the clouded up guy, it was like my job to do that, right? And so I was doing good. But it was also my buddies like Kendall and, Red and all that. And so I turned to him, I'm like, the meaning of life is this, as in And he looked at me like, oh, is Zherka talking about partying? And I'm like, no, love, right? That I love you and them. And I'm not here to find a way to explain why I love them. I'm here because I reckon something in me recognizes all of you. And I only said that to him and his girlfriend sitting next to him. And I don't think she spoke English, but he looked at me like, whoa, this is the Zherka that's online? Like, was this the hippie Zherka? But he totally understood it. He's like, oh shit, like Zerga's not an unconscious party guy. Like he'll sit on the party and he'll deepen his gaze until he loves everyone there, because that's the hardest place to love people, right? That's a very superficial place. And if you can love strangers in a superficial way and recognize their humanity, you're deepening the Christian mystery in your heart. That is what you're on earth to do. It's very easy to try and do that from your bedroom or your family, friends, whatever, but it's extremely hard to do it in a ratchet setting, right? And it affects the whole party once you're good enough. And it gets kind of evil because it makes you a lot more attractive to the chicks too, because they go, oh shit, he's radiating love from his center. And that is hard thinking. That's what you're on earth to do. It's not just about making the money and your career and your craft and your mastery. It's, you're a threefold soul. You've got to deepen every side of you. Listen to Andrew Tate, SNEAKO, and Dan Bilzerian. That does nothing for us, man. We listen to a Christian message from Nick, and that's about it. Who else do I promote? Nobody. What about this guy? None of them. None of them. Like I said, we're brothers in Christ. That's it. Now, if I was anyone else on earth, I would promote other things, but it's a Zherka incarnation. So by the time I'm dead, I'm only going to promote the Christ that is within, that has to be born within you. And you have to focus on your life going this way. You cannot be mixing it up with online Islam and blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you right now, there's a reason you're around me in the first place. It's because of stuff like this. It might be the funny stuff, but the important stuff is stuff like this. The funny stuff is not going to last, by the way. I can make you guys laugh for thousands of years. It's not going to last. This stuff is what matters most. And I'm not telling you as a fundamentalist Christian, right? I'm not telling you that other people go to hell or I don't believe in any of that, right? If you grew up on an island, spearfishing, praying to fish gods, yeah, you're a good person. You'll do good. That is a traditional Catholic thought too. But I'm not here to talk about any of that. I'm saying let's focus on the basics in the hardest places. Can you love people in a place where there is no love? It's just lust. Strengthen it there. Obviously, it's impossible in the beginning. Obviously, it feels impossible for a few months, some of you guys, a few years. But you will find cracks and moments where it's possible. And then the game begins, right? That's when you go to parties and you gain something from the party. You don't just lose yourself and get scattered. You say, I've done 5 days in a row of 8 hours a day thinking. I'm concentrated. I'm ready. I don't want to go to that party, Zherka. No, you have to go. And then you're a loving person at that party and you go, whoa, I just learned something staring at this one person at the party. And I really try to deepen my gaze, like Zherka said, and I'm learning something that I don't want to share with the world. But the guys who have already done this kind of hard thinking, they know. The guys listening right now, they go, I know exactly what Zherka's talking about, but don't say it out loud. And when you get that feeling of I know what he's talking about, it came into my memory for a bit. I self-remembered, I knew it for 5 minutes, and then it kind of faded. And if you know what I'm talking about right now, well, I don't have to convince you of anything. You know you're not supposed to talk about it because it's not something that can be in words. And you should want to develop that. You should want to. You should want to in the hardest places where there's the most friction, like you argue with your brother and you feel that heat and you go, you know what? It's not skillful for me. I'm already going to have enemies in the world. I'm not starting with making an enemy out of my brother. I am going to lead this conversation with clarity and love because love is above opinion. And then you look at your brother and you go, I disagree, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is your way. And he will laugh. He will say, what the? And you're going to be like, because I love you. And he'll be like, you're a fucking hippie. Get the fuck out of my room. You'll be like, okay. You leave the room and you go back to your concentration. Your brother goes, he's fucking doing it. He's not even hanging out with me. I just kicked him out and he's still smiling. That's not my brother. He's supposed to be mad and he's bitter. And you feel consciousness, lights behind your eyes just activate. And you go, holy Zherka, I feel a little euphoric from transcending a reactive response, an angry response. I feel so much intensity behind my eyes. Like I should focus this energy. And it's like, yes. And then sometimes you'll yell back at him and you'll feel really bad about it because you missed your chance to alchemically transmute this energy. You know how many times I want to be reactive to people online, but I save it for the right person? Isn't that beautiful? So you're always winning. I mean, you guys disperse your energy on every little thing and everyone who pisses you off. Which, by the way, a lot of you guys have too many friends. Like, if you're always pissed off, like you're not supposed to be externally triggered all the time. That's not. That means you have too many weirdos in your life. Okay, there should be certain people, but once you start getting the real message of, dude, from all of Zherka's messages, his hippie message is my favorite. That is the direction, bro. That is even deeper than thinking and concentration, right? That is deeper than your career. Even though you're gonna always thank thinking for taking you to the next level because you see the finances on the screen. You're like, oh shit, I know what I'm doing. But I'm telling you, the next level will always be hard thinking. And you're not supposed to develop one at a time. All of them are going up at the same time. You're here to develop your consciousness soul. I don't go live for this kind of I don't get paid for this kind of stuff. I get paid for certain things. But when I give you guys a free message on a spaces, I'm telling you, this is the one time you guys should just buckle down and say, after this Twitter space, I'm going to walk in love. And you're supposed to practice love. You can even contemplate it. But love is not what you've been told. It's not these lower forms. There's a lower form that's a lot of fun. It feels infinite sometimes. That's romance. There's a lower form that's called friendship love. That one feels awesome too, amazing, somewhat more rare almost nowadays. And then there's a third one, the love of the game, the craft, the mastery, the concentrated thinking is becoming alive of what you're doing. Three paths of love: thinking, feeling, and willing, developing. All of them should be going up at the same time. There's nothing else to do with your day. And SNEAKO and Bilzerian are not going to lead you anywhere. Okay? If you watch Nick, you're developing thinking, believe it or not. You see that kind of concentration, you go, I want that. He can't even be even when Nick is distracted, he'll make a side point that actually has something to do with what he's talking about, which is mind blowing. How can you make a side point, a reference point, and like circle it in? That's really impressive. And obviously, you're seeing a guy really heavily, he's heavy into his thinking, which can leave you a little cold and dry. Be careful with that. But that's why you got me. Right? And the name of the game is that eventually, when all of these are transformed and in balance, it's going to feel like feeling. It's going to be like the end of the game is going to feel like a mastery of feeling. Right? And I know everyone will teach you that they have to be in balance, but the end of the game is going to feel like a Jesus Christ feeling, not emotional intensity, not feeling bad for people because you feel bad for them and you have sympathy, but you feel bad for someone, you go, that's wrong. His life is being cheated by Dan Bilzerian and SNEAKO. That's wrong. That's how you should see it. Not, oh, I feel bad for him. He's getting his whole life destroyed and you've totally drowned in your own emotions. None of that shit, that gay shit. I'm talking about being in the middle and you say, no more of these guys. This is a Christian message. All right, let's bring some people up here. Let's talk to the people. What's up, Mike? Hit me or leave. 7cc laps. Let's see. Darren
John
Yo,
fucking Zherka.
was
How you
good.
doing?
Chilling.
Yeah, I like the thinking and feeling willing talk. It definitely brings me some thought in terms of the theme of SNEAKO's character as of late, because he does not have a consistent theme throughout his career, and he kind of blew up on the red pill wave. Um, but yeah, it's good to always be able to see your shit on the timeline because it kind of brings everything back home. So yeah, bro,
Is that your windshield wiper?
it's raining over here.
You gotta go, homie. This is
Zerka,
a level of disrespect. Yeah, what's good, bro?
do you think that the Jews and the influence that they have on social media where it's getting so popular, do you think that they want it like that because they want people to think that they have more power than they actually do?
Oh yeah, this the theory that they want everyone to hate them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because there's more than one super like family in the world and power. I don't think the Jews have it all.
Yeah, well, I go both ways because yes, they want people to hate them. They've been doing that strategy for a long, long time, right? It's like you can't even debate this. But on the other hand, I'm not those people that say it's not the Jews. And really, it's not nobody. Every human has to work on themselves, right? You cannot purify someone by telling someone, hey, be pure. You have to purify yourself. And they look at you and they say, whoa, I want that. That's how it actually works. So technically, everyone saying it's the Jews are evil too. Like, don't get it twisted. You know, if a human's pointing at a group of humans, he's doing something evil, right? You should be working morally refining yourself, but also don't let them kill children. And I don't believe it's the Catholics secretly or blah blah blah. And I could see so much power, you know, in that direction. But
Hmm.
when we're talking about the murdering of children, yeah, it's clearly the Jews.
Yeah. Do you think that Great Britain is also involved and has a hand in Israel?
100%.
Yep. I agree.
I don't believe that there's Jews that are not British Zionists, actually. I'm not one of those guys. I believe it's British Zionist Jews.
Yep.
And a lot of Americans, it's just where did this all start with? It's British Zionist Jews, right? And I see a lot of subversion with the Catholic Church. So I'm not like Nick there. You know, they accuse me of being a Protestant for this kind of stuff. But when I think of the baby killing part, the most important part, right? And throughout all of human history, this is how you measure it. What the most important part is who is sacrificing to demons, killing babies and all that, right? Because you don't have the impulse to kill just out of vengeance. There's more to it in your auric field and the demons you carry around that you've generated, you've pretty much made pacts with, right? That's what makes a human bloodthirsty. It's more of a spiritual answer. And yeah, it's clearly the Jews. Like I can say that with, and I'm not saying that like you meet a Jew and he's evil. I don't mean that at all. Like I wouldn't even go as far as, oh, they're all defending each other and stuff, or any of the stuff I used to say that was too intense. I would say, bottom line, if a human being says what's happening in Gaza is correct, there's a heart defect there. There's something wrong with them. And I'm not saying this is like some kind of liberal ass, oh, free Palestine, all that. I'm saying it is like, dude, they're watching dead children and they're saying this is a necessary evil. It's, dude, instinctively, that's not your path, let alone, guided with thinking. Yep. You hear that?
Yep. I agree. So then what do you think about the Orthodox Church? Do you think that that's the right way or a Catholic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't give the answer like most people do. I'll give you an answer that's kind of going to piss everyone off. And hold on, let me just poke some of this fat, just for my hair, skin, and nails. Just all right, just poke some of this growth. But yeah, I'm going to give an answer that pisses a lot of people off. It's The truth is, you don't want to interrupt the soul from deepening their faith, whether they're Islamic, whether they're Buddhist, doesn't matter. If it's deepening their faith, you don't want to interrupt that process. Which, a lot of people, they'll interrupt like a guy from becoming Muslim, and I don't think that's good, right? It's better to show them the light your way. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's an inward, spirituality is inward, religion is outward, spirituality is inward. If someone's faith is stronger with the Orthodox Church than it is with the Catholic Church, you're not really technically supposed to get in the way of that. Clearly, they're closer to the Christ than you. You talk to a Catholic, they'll be like, no, you just got to be this way or that way. But if you actually talk to the Pope or any priests from the Catholic Church, they'll even tell you some Muslims go to heaven. It depends if they're a good person and stuff, but we're giving the Jesus Christ ticket because it seems like this transforms the soul the best way. So I agree with that 100%. But I'll tell you right now, man, I will always recommend you see all of religion and spirituality as something inward. That's good. It has to be inward. Like no one can do it for you. No, the rituals are great and all that, but your whole day is not in a church. Look at your whole day. That's your whole life. You maybe go to church once a week, but I'm telling you right now, refine yourself. Zherka pulling blades on people in 2016 and all this fighting and problems. He should be refined as he gets older. And if you don't see a refinement process in a human, if you don't see this savage behavior, survival behavior of, oh, he pulled a knife on me, I gotta pull a knife on him. Oh, he pulled a gun, I gotta pull a gun. This circa 2016 behavior must get refined, whether it's through a liberal lens of Twitch or whatever path I was on. You should see refinement in character over time. And same with SNEAKO, same with everyone. And I'll tell you this, man, the one thing that's going to shock everyone on earth is when they die, you are met with the Christ, even if you're a Chinese Buddhist, even if you're a Muslim. Now, it's not going to be the Christ that everyone is convinced, like for example, the Christ looks a little different to Braden, who is a Protestant and he grew up. That's like an American Christ to him. Then brown guys will see, they'll have a different idea in their head. Most human beings, Steiner says, most human beings on earth, when they think of God, they're actually worshiping their higher self or their guardian angel directly linked to them, but it's never actually God. God is something you cannot imagine. And so most humans on earth are trying to convince you of their own little worlds kind of God, and they're shocked when they're in front of what really is God. It's so indescribable, limitless, and it's so vast and massive that it humbles the fuck out of you, where you go, whoa, my conception was really earthly. And an earthly conception is really stupid. So a Catholic, an Orthodox, a Protestant, doesn't matter. If you're on earth, you're gonna have an earthly idea of God. You, just like the mystics say, you shouldn't have ideas of God. You should be sitting in a room feeling love pulsing from your heart because your family's with you, and you go, oh, it's my mother, it's my father, it's my brother, it's my nephew, and you guys are having a barbecue, let's say, and you feel an immense level of love, like, oh, this is such a good day, few beers and stuff. And as you're feeling that love, you're not supposed to just let it run out. You're supposed to carry it and say, oh, this is the Christ force. This is the nature of God. It's not what I was thinking. It's not what Nick or Protestants. It's that center feeling where you cannot insult someone else because you're really good that day. You're chilling. You can't insult anyone. That is what you should be focusing on, not for an emotional intensity or anything, but you should be understanding that love should be perceived when you are actually feeling it. That's when you're like, wait a minute, I can point to this and say, oh, this is the nature. Now I understand why God is against swords and killing people, because every human, when they're in a loving moment, is against all that. They're free. Now, when you're killing people, you're under impulse, you're unconscious. There's millions of impulses in the thought world going through you, making you do this, that, blah, blah, blah. But when you are free, you're in love and you're just in the middle of the universe and you don't want to be anywhere else. Whereas, when you're with a sword, you want to be in other places, you want to conquer other lands. But that inward feeling has nothing to do with going to church and all that. Like that's something you have to develop on your own. There's no priest, that priest that cheats on his wife, and that guy's not going to help you. There's no one on earth going to help you. You have to work on yourself. It's a refinement process. And that's why I tell people it's like, listen, man, one day at a time. You want to refine who you are. Zherka should go from more savage to less, more beastly to less every single year until you can barely recognize him, until you can say, this 45-year-old Zherka is very different. But it's not he switched teams different. It's, he's more refined, more mature. He's more cooked. He's more of a diamond. That's what you want to see. This idea that, you go to the priest and he just fixes your problem. Like I'll never buy into that. Am I against, for my, and it's just talking about personality wise, do I like the ortho bros? And no, I don't. I think they're always attacking the Catholics and it's cringe, right? It's really cringe. Do I like let's be real. I fit in the most with the Protestants. Like if we want to really call what Zerka is, I fit in with those guys the most, or like that Americana energy. But why I give it to the Catholics is beauty, man. There's so much beauty there. There's just so much. If you're going to travel the world, and like the greatest part of traveling is not just being a stupid degenerate and partying and all that. The greatest part of traveling is you're sobering up and you have to go to a temple or a church, or you go visit the Catholic churches around the world. It's fucking amazing, dude. Excuse my cursing. It's amazing. And I'm telling you right now, I'm all about the feeling life. I'm all about beauty. And so, anytime someone asks me, well, do you think Orthodox? Do you think? No, I'll point people to Catholicism, right? Although I want your lifestyle to look a little more Protestant, orderly like Nick, but a little more freedom based, whereas Nick is more security based. So Nick and I are on completely different trajectories, but with the same God force. And it's going to look different for everyone. Some people are going to be more into that orderly security type of lifestyle. And some people are only going to see their potential max out of what they want to do on earth when they feel more of a freedom impulse, right? And they're both of them are not they're both correct. Like with God, you should feel secure and freedom at the same time, which is euphoric. It is, there's nothing better than being free, do whatever you want to do, but doing the right thing because you're free and the rest of the world is angry and unconscious and they're being driven by demons. And you're like, no, I will bring them back. That is the greatest feeling in the universe. I'm not even talking about feeling, it's something higher than that. But yeah, it's like at the end of the day, I cannot promote the stuff that I don't believe in. I don't believe that those guys who go to church every week are doing anything. The rituals are strong, it's strengthening their faith, so we like that. But I don't believe those guys who don't work on themselves are doing anything at all. I genuinely believe those guys who go to church to get their problems fixed and then they go home and just, they're doing nothing with their whole life. They're probably like scrolling Twitter or whatever. Yeah, I think those guys are fucked, completely fucked. Because humans are given a lot of time on Earth, a shit ton of time on Earth. And you don't realize, you think, oh, it's not that long because I'm this age. Dude, you can do 2 weeks of work in 2 hours if you put your head to it. A lot of people have discovered this, and it's a really depressing thing to discover. It's not a superpower. You see how much of your life you've wasted. And so when you see it as how much, let's say you're staying concentrated every single day for years, yeah, if a human stayed concentrated every day for 3 years, I think he'd do everything he's trying to do in the next 500 fucking years. So yeah, God gives you a shit ton of time. It's just you're not equating it to concentrated time. Now, I still want people to go to church and do all that. But again, self-mastery has to come before religion. For thousands of years, it's been like this. It's just how it goes. You're not going to ask a teenager to be a good little Christian because they're just gonna fap all day. Like that's just how it goes. I think that's why Charlie Kirk was impressive because it didn't, he didn't have like a chaotic phase, I guess, and he ended in the most chaos. Like, he's linked to karmically what happened to him. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. I'm saying that that's the world he's been engaging in for a long time, not just now. And, all of Charlie's chaos came at the end, not the beginning. I don't like to see that. I don't like to see that at all. I like to see people's chaos come up first. And as they're aging, they refine themselves. I feel like people are in the game a lot longer that way. They get to do more, less tragedy. And, for Charlie, it's all of his edgy behavior in his teenage years. It wasn't expressed, so it came out during his adult years. And, to us, it's not edgy, but to him, it was very edgy what he was saying. And it, garnered a lot of hate against him. Same with the not speaking up for the dead babies in Palestine. Karmically, he's definitely not favored for that. I'm not saying that God's picking. I'm saying he's picking every night he goes to bed. You don't want to, you don't want to speculate on karma ever. You never want to play God. But I'm saying, a lot of that chaos came in one bullet at the last second. And that's, how someone dies is not random, bro. It's really not, especially a death like that is not random. And I think, Charlie's fighting the good fight. He's against the drunkenness and all that, which, it's an uphill battle because the spirit of our times demands more freedom. People want more freedom than they want their health. So they'll go to drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff, rock and roll shit, because they think it's pushing them to a conscious state, which it's not, right? It's just giving them a taste of a bit of spirituality, but it's not something you can sustain. So it's very bad if you cannot, self-generate that. And, unfortunately, it's like you have to see the world like this. It's like, do you want a bunch of people to have everything happen to them in their 30s or gradually? And I'd rather kids make mistakes. I think kids making mistakes is cool because adults making mistakes is really brutal to see, dude. When you see adults making mistakes, they kill themselves, I want to see the refinement process go upward, which every human on earth is doing it the other way, right? Like, I got a job, I got a house, and she broke up with me, and I now want to kill myself. And it's like, ooh, dude, all you have to do is go the other way, right? You don't have to sign away half your stuff. And which, by the way, it's not about material. It's more like you're less attractive when you lose half your fucking net worth, you idiot, right? We still want you to be attractive and, have all that. And so a lot of people are convinced their karma is clean until their wife, abandons their ass. It's like, there you go, told you so. It's like these souls that are incarnating right now are not that innocent, bro. We've been telling you guys this, guard your stuff, guard your individuation process, and that's some of that stuff has to happen to you guys. But it's like, again, freedom is number one. Man, she'll like you more when you're a free soul, right? Some of you guys just obsessed with insecurity, like, or excuse me, security. And it's so strange to me because it's like, dude, she's getting blacked by the freedom guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's don't deny your nature. If you're here for freedom, show it, do it, live it. Don't destroy yourself. Don't suppress it until it comes in other ways. And know who you are. Like, I don't follow channels that can destroy me. Right? I know Dan Bilzerian. I follow him. He's a fucking idiot, bro. He's literally a fucking idiot who did nothing with his life. He got money from his dad. I shit you not. Google that. All right. That's doing nothing for me. That to me, that's like goy slop entertainment. Okay. I don't even think he's standing up for anything. And I'm telling you right now, man, I'm never gonna be the guy who tells you this church, that church. Because let's be honest, you're at the church once a week if you're lucky, bro. But you're with yourself every day, right? And you're fucking up every day. Right? Don't waste your time, right? Don't think your priest has the answer. I'm not Nick who's going to tell you the priest is, and I don't even think Nick thinks that, right? There's no way he does, where, even priests fall all the time, right? So it's like, clearly all of spirituality is you versus you. That's all it is. Everything external is cope. If it doesn't feed your individuation process, it's useless to you. That's why I encourage people to have girlfriends early. Heartbreak early is awesome. Let's get through the mistakes, right? I want to see every human that interacts with me. I want to see their 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Those years, I want them to go exactly like Zherka's, where every year he made a shit ton more money, a shit ton more girls, but the heartbreak is already dealt with. Everything is done. as much as it could be done. And it's a refinement process upward where you laugh more and more and more. That's what I want to see. All of my friends, everyone I know, everyone in the industry, it's the other way around. It's, they turn 30 and the girl leaves them and they get destroyed and they listen to my spaces and they go, why are you so amped up on life? And it's like, I'm not, bro. I'm not amped up on life. You are just a depressing fucking little bitch. That's who you are. I'm not amped up on life. I'm just strategic. I'm strategic with when to make mistakes. Okay. Sometimes I open myself up for more mistakes. I even tell my buddies, I'm like, yo, guys, we're going to go to this party and let's make some mistakes. They go, why? Why this party? I go, well, there's this certain person we are supposed to meet, but we can't get close to them for this business opportunity unless we make mistakes with them. And they go, oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, I pick and choose, right? All right, let's see what else we got. Who else we got? JW. What do you got, bro? Strategy. It's about strategy.
Strategy of picking the worst time, brother. I got a bet about to tip off right
Oh,
now.
bro,
This thing
we
is
we
gonna
don't we
go.
don't like gamblers, bro.
What do you mean?
It's just I find them really fucking boring. Like you gamble, bro. Like we have nothing to talk about. All right, let's see who is we got. Walter, different Walter. Yeah, what's up, bro?
Hi, Zherka. It's the first time I'm actually catching a space live.
That's
So glad.
that's
I
that's
tried for
crazy.
weeks.
That's
I tried
crazy.
for weeks.
Yeah, because I just randomly do them. I just fuck everyone over like that.
No, it's great. I really love this content. It's like makes me think. Like I want to do them myself as well.
Hell yeah.
So it's gonna be great. Yeah, but I really like the thing you said about the parties and how you kind of can influence the whole room with the way you use your heart,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I mean, I'm like in a dorm right now, student dorm, and I have like a bar, and we're hosting parties almost every week. I'm kind of maxing the student life right now because this is gonna be my last semester probably, and it's really nice, like listening to your spaces and trying things out. It's great.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, but I have a question for you regarding orthodoxy because we were speaking about that, and I'm Orthodox Christian, and I get the criticism towards Ortho bros.
Yeah, I'm talking about
There's a
more of the
lot of
online space. I'm not talking about the
yeah.
club.
I do think like that there's certainly online
It
people
feels
are
to me like
different.
the
People,
the Orthodox community online feels more repressed to me. Whereas, the Catholics, they'll make some mistakes. They even talk to you about in the DMs and stuff. But Orthodox community, it seems like they don't go out as much. They hate women more. It's all that kind of stuff.
well, I mean, I could say the same about Catholics, but it's always like we have biases at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
just, I just think like maybe it is very important what kind of Christ, what the Christ is that we submit to or worship. So I myself came to Christianity through philosophy and theology. I did it in a kind of logical way, and
in my opinion, that's an awesome way.
I think so too, because there is actually a way to, well, and that is what shocked me when I was 18, that there is a way to, well, prove God, but you won't do it with like natural
No,
sciences.
I'm saying
You can
this
only,
is easily the longest way, like the most draining way, the hardest way. But imagine you study every single philosopher, and usually you get caught up with one or two and get obsessed. But imagine you studied
yeah,
every single philosopher. At one point, if you're like me, at one point you go, why are they all talking about scripture? Even the atheists, they all pick a story from scripture to explain a thought process. And at one point, you're like, wait a minute, there's more atheist philosophers talking about scripture than even Christian ones. You get shocked. You're like, why are they all talking about scripture? Why is it so important? Oh, that's because where history started, but not really. Look at recorded history. And then you realize, oh, this is, the mystery of Golgotha is the center of the timeline. Like this is the deepest, darkest part of the timeline that we get saved. Oh, this is what it is. And then you go from philosophy to theology. And if you're smart, you keep those two. You don't go to just one. If you just go to religion, you become an idiot. You have to keep both.
Yeah, that's true. I believe like I as a young boy, like I saw like I'm half Russian, half German, and I saw a movie
Bro, you're half
called
based and half commie.
well, yes, it's a very it's so I don't know who to root for every time I think about World War II. Who would I have
Well, you
fought
have the
for?
German accent. You got to join our side, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do like the aesthetics and all much more than the. But anyway, I'm more like a czarist, to be honest. I like Nicholas II. He's my favorite.
Okay,
Uh,
that's very orthodox.
yeah, I don't know. I have like his son has the same name as I do, and it's a very and he's also a saint. And saints are alive. They're all around us. I don't know. It's crazy.
Dude, it sounds like you're happy with your faith. I wouldn't, I think you're doing good so far. So you like where you're at. I think you should stay in ortho, bro.
No, yeah, I am. I think like I will say this now that I have a platform. The thing is, I try to build a platform, but so I'm kind of listening to spaces. You can kind of parasite off people. It's
Right.
great. But what I want to say is like, truth is power, and the only way to realize your full potential is through orthodoxy. And maybe
Okay,
people don't believe that,
that's
but
retarded, bro.
it's not.
What? Because here's how it goes throughout all history. If a Protestant maximizes their faith through that channel, and an Orthodox maximizes his faith through that channel, and a Catholic through his channel, the real esoteric answer is that they're all three of them are technically correct because they gained the most out of where they're at, right? And I'm not just saying that, for preference or anything like that. I'm not saying that to sound like objective. I'm saying what maximizes your faith is key because faith is the only thing you get to keep when, one of the many things you get to keep when you die, but the important things, it's a transformative force. And it has to be obviously linked to truth. It cannot be like a lot of people are like, well, Zherka, if this theory is of this esoteric theory of yours is correct, then couldn't you use Star Wars? And it's like, yes
You
and no.
could.
No, no. The answer is yes and no, because when you say you love Dragon Ball, when you say you love Star Wars, what you're effectively saying is you are using your love on earth to exist watching that. You become absorbed with it. You read Swedenborg's writings, which might make things sound a little more Protestant right now, but it's the evolution of Christianity we're looking at. You look at
Mm.
Swedenborg's writings and he'll say that is you paying homage to the Christ. If you love Sonic the Hedgehog, because you can only love because of the Christ. The word love means you're linked with the Christ with the things you love, right? Which is not with harming people, right? A lot of people confuse that. But yeah, so a lot of people are like, dude, I love boxing. And it's like, yeah, you're generating your love force, your Christ force for boxing. So you're still thanking the Christ when you love boxing. A lot of people don't realize that. And people get really afraid when I say that because they go, does that mean everything in my life that I love is like in a weird way, it's like a softer prayer? And it's like, yeah, it is. Dude, everything you love, I'm telling you, the stuff you love since you were a kid is all linked. You incarnated for it. That's what I want to do this, your childish, primitive soul said. Even though it's ancient, it's still primitive, it's still growing. And you said, I want to do this. And God's like, okay, go do it. That's why a lot of people, that's why I tell people, go play your basketball. You love basketball, bro. A lot of guys who come up, I used to play basketball every day. Go play more. Everyone who hires me for a consultation, they'll be like, well, he's making me do what I love. And it's like, fuck yeah, I am. That's gonna get you to the best thought forms, you idiot.
Yeah, that's true. You should only do You can actually do just what you want. You pretty much don't need anything. If you there is never lack. God provides. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
if you're away from illusion, you can do what you want. If you're within illusion, you cannot
Yes.
do what you want.